what's going on as normal. Used to be when you would try to look at the news, you had a basic assumption of some good and bad, but boy, here recently things have just materialized that have really put a lot of folks in a concern mode. And I'm going to try to do my best to bring you up to speed. But one that's very concerning is Norway, Ireland, and Spain just did a joint press conference to recognize a Palestinian state. I kid you not. This is the prime ministers. CBN News is reporting of Norway, Ireland, and Spain recognizing Palestine. Check this out.
Today, Ireland, Spain, and Norway announced they will recognize a state of Palestine.
Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision. In the lead up to today's announcement, I've spoken with a number of other leaders and counterparts, and I'm confident that further countries will join us in taking this important step in the coming weeks.
Hamas called the decision an important step, while Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said it is giving a prize to Hamas and Iran.
And a lot of folks are very unclear why now. Norway, Ireland, and Spain also admitted that the recent arrest warrant for Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, prompted this decision. And as I played for you yesterday, George Clooney's wife, who happens to be a lawyer and works with a lot of the lip-lock liberal groups, helped push this arrest warrant and this Palestinian state through. Now, you must understand that there is a major rift, and I think everyone's aware, between Israel and Palestine. But now with the Iranian leader being killed, we're having bloodshed, we're having bombs, we're having lots happening. Is there maybe an attempt here by Norway, Ireland, and Spain maybe to bring peace? I don't know. But I find it odd that it happened here recently after the death of the Iranian leader that was killed in the helicopter crash. So something for us to all keep an eye on, but it is interesting that it's happening at this time. Again, lots going on. Pardon me. And one thing, too, is the feds are banning Memorial Day event to honor fallen heroes from National Cemetery, and they're calling it a demonstration. Now, this, again, is very disturbing. Since 1960, the Knights of Columbus have had a Memorial Day event at the Poplar Grove National Cemetery in Pittsburgh, Virginia. For the last 2 years, however, the National Park Service has refused permission for the event due to a new policy prohibiting religious services and calling the ceremony to honor the nation's fallen heroes a demonstration. Now, this has all happened under Joe the Biden, and it makes you wonder what's going on with this administration and why would they prohibit the traditional Memorial Day event that's been going on since 1960. Well, I think Ron Johnson helps bring some light to that. Here is Senator Ron Johnson asking Mayorkas about the border. Now, why would you say play this in the same breath as that? Because I believe Mayorkas, being one of the puppets of Biden, is pretty much explaining why we're in the state we're in.
When you entered office, you reversed all those successful policies, and you opened up the border, and you've created this catastrophe, and it is a catastrophe. 6 million people, more than 6 million people.
Yes, dude, yes!
The 31 states have a population less than the number of people you've let in, flooding these sanctuary cities. So
31 states have a less population than the amount of people that they've allowed in. And Senator Marjorie Taylor Greene hit on this just the other day, and remember this?
Chairman of the Committee on Homeland Security, U.S. Congressman Dr. Mark Green says he expects federal border authorities under the Biden administration to have encountered 10 million migrants by the end of this summer. It's a number that's never been seen in two-term presidential administrations, let alone one.
And they're saying that this is the largest amount of immigration crossings that we've had. Now, Senator Joe Manchin tells GOP colleagues, when you get a chance, secure the border and take it. Now, that's a Democrat. Senator Joe Manchin, who's not running for re-election from West Virginia, and by the way, he grew up with Nick Saban. They're pals from way back. Senator Joe Manchin said to his GOP colleagues, when you get a chance to secure the border, take it. So with that said, you got the Memorial Day event being shut down, and it's being called a demonstration, so we can't honor our fallen soldiers, but yet we can honor Palestinian revolts in our college campuses across the country. Are you sensing something here? It's very disturbing, if you love your country, that we can't honor our fallen soldiers, but yet we can honor groups that hate America. These kids are chanting, hate America, burn America. They're replacing the American flag with another country. And some of you, and I've got coming up at the break, you're going to love hearing this guy, Dave Adams, he's the founder of USA Heartbeat Radio, who carries my program, and Street Level America. And it's going to be interesting to hear his take on this. But let me tell you what's going on. Check out this. At a recent high school, these teachers were fired, and they should have been. See if you agree.
Breaking news tonight, 2 Clinton High School teachers now out of a job after the district says they manipulated over 1,500 grades.
Over 1,500 grades they manipulated. They were passing kids that agreed with their agenda and failing kids that were not in their left-leaning ways. The principal resigned as well. So we've got a problem here in the country, and I think a lot of us would have to agree there's concern, lots of concern. And so they're banning the memorial services that has gone on since 1960 here in America, and it's just very interesting. The other thing that's very interesting is Joe Biden agrees to remove the remaining U.S. troops from Niger in September. He's going to abandon a $100 million airbase, and Russia forces are moving in to that same base. You've got to ask yourself, when he withdrew from Afghanistan, China now occupies our airbase that was in Afghanistan that was millions of dollars. Now we're withdrawing from Niger and Russia. Why is it we're abandoning these strategic air bases around the world and then allowing other countries, and some see them as our adversaries, not our allies? China and Russia, I don't think we would send a Hallmark Christmas card and say, hey, love you too. I think there's concerns here. It's all boiling around, and going back to what I led with, there is a move now for a Palestinian state, denying Israel the right to have its own place. This is getting spooky. It's getting biblical, if you will, too, as well, because if you go read Revelation, it talks about this. Now, election interference is on a lot of people's mind, and AOC, the darling Democrat, who to me looks very much like the Ukrainian robot, if you will, prime minister they've put together, that's going to represent them now. But AOC says the quiet part out loud and reveals Democrats' lawfare against Donald Trump, all these trials, she said was designed to be like an electric ankle monitor, limiting his ability to campaign. That's from AOC. So when you have one of the darlings of the Democrats admitting this, I think we're finding out that the trial was nothing more than a sham. And a name that you guys need to know and research is Norm Eisen. Norm Eisen is a senior fellow in the governance studies of and he has several books out. But he is the guy that authored all the impeachment trials. He has served in the Obama administration. He is one of the lawyers that is part of what they call the crew. And that was the United States ambassador to the Czech Republics, and he was a chair of the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. It's nicknamed Crew. So this guy, and I read the article to you yesterday, he is going after Donald J. Trump in multiple 180 cases. Well, it came out on the witness stand just Monday that he is the architect, the author, if you will, of what AOC called the ankle monitors, trying to keep Trump so busy and tied up he doesn't have time to fundraise or campaign. 180 trials were written up by this corrupt lawyer. Norm Eisen, the key architect behind the color revolution and 180 lawfare cases against Trump. And he was confronted outside the courthouse Monday, and he literally ran to hide behind police officers after being exposed. And he's being called a liar. You set all this up. Costello just exploded your stuff. Who is that? Robert Costello took the stand Monday and testified that Norm Eisen, the corrupt lawyer under the Obama administration, coerced Michael Cohen to pay himself the Stormy Daniels money. This was all a plot from way back in 2016. He was behind telling Michael Cohen, pay yourself out of your own pocket, and then when we need you, we're going to use you to go after Donald Trump. Well, what's happening now is we're finding out that what Michael Cohen did, technically, the 6 felonies he admitted to under oath on trial, is worse than what they're accusing Donald Trump of. So Norm Eisen is behind every lawfare case against Donald Trump. And this is kind of disturbing to many. But Tucker Carlson spoke with the Revolver News' Darren Beattie, a former speechwriter for President Trump, and Beattie called out Norm Eisen in his discussion about the color revolution. He has a book called The Playbook. Norm Eisen has what they call The Playbook. And in The Playbook, he has a detailed plan on how to distract and destroy Donald Trump. And it's very, very disturbing that this is coming out now. You know the FBI and many others were aware of this, but they're just now coming out. The other thing that just came out, and is also quite disturbing, is the federal judge in Florida has suspended the case against Donald Trump indefinitely because some of the documentation that came out from Jack Smith and the Department of Justice is that they had the term law enforcement use excessive force when necessary. And a lot of folks are saying, what does that mean? That is not normal to be put in a document such as this. So this is the raid of Mar-a-Lago. It says newly unsealed documents reveal Biden's FBI authorized the use of deadly force during the Mar-a-Lago raid. This is a fact, Jack. This isn't a Macil. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not hyperbole. This is a fact, Jack. You can go check yourself. That they use deadly force in raiding a former president's residence. Outrageous, my friends. This is not acceptable in America to go after your opponents like they're doing. And armed FBI agents went into the Mar-a-Lago like they were raiding a drug house, if you will. But then when they went after Joe Biden and his documents that were in an unlocked garage with his red Corvette, there was one person. That's a big difference in the way they've handled this, and I think many Americans are getting the wiser. So the part 2 of this, Biden's armed and dangerous Mar-a-Lago raid, FBI took dozens of photos of Melania Trump's room. And for some reason, they were focused in her room and on her underwear and her undergarments. We don't understand what the connection is with an FBI raid and the First Lady's personal wardrobe. But more's coming out. Christina Leah, reporter earlier, one of the filings revealed Biden's FBI authorized the use of deadly force during the raid on Mar-a-Lago and under the tutelage of the Attorney General Merrick Garland. Now, I mentioned this yesterday. Merrick Garland, if you guys know, he was the guy that was very, very much jaded. You know, he was picked to be on the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court by Obama. Obama nominated him, but the GOP, Mitch McConnell, blocked his nomination. Savvy? Now, that was probably on his bucket list. It was a dream job. You've got to ask yourself, if you were Merrick Garland and you were blocked from the Supreme Court after being announced and nominated by a president, when the next president asks you to be the Attorney General, would you want a little sweet revenge and go after the GOP? I think it's very obvious that's what's happening. That's what's happening. I'll be back in a moment, and we're going to have special guest Dave Adams on. He is the founder and president of Street Level America and USA Heartbeat Radio, reaching 32 states, Mexico, Canada, and 26 other countries when we come back.
Hey, I'm from Texas, and I love listening to your show because y'all tell truth on there. You don't water it down, and I know what I listen to is real. And so, yes, just want to say that I'm glad that you're doing the show, and I'm friends with Jolene, and I do love America. I really do. Keep going gung-ho, guys, with the show. We got your back. Bye.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah,
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is Macil Duncan. Welcome back to the show. This is Macil Duncan on 96.9 FM here locally in Chattanooga on Destiny Media Radio, but also on USAHeartbeat.com and the Street Level America. And we're in 32 states, Mexico, and Canada. And I just so happen to have the founder and the president of USA Heartbeat on the phone, Dave Adams. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. One of the things I love about broadcast engineering is sometimes there's things that happen at the last minute. Right at the very, very beginning of your show, we had a little glitch on the computer, and so we were working behind the scenes to get it back on, and you're back on the air.
Well, I appreciate that. I've just got to ask quickly your professional opinion about this this peace for Palestine and this. I don't know if you heard early in the show, but there was a press conference called by Norway, Ireland, and Spain to recognize Palestinian state. And they're saying that the international court's arrest warrant against Netanyahu of Israel was one of the driving forces. What's your thoughts?
Boy, we're starting to see the prophecy in the Bible come to play, where all the nations are coming against Israel. It's as a Christian, man, you have mixed feelings because you see the prophecies in the Bible coming to life. Everybody's going against Israel. We as Christians need to stand for Israel. To ask my question about what I think of it, I think it's ridiculous. We need to stand for Israel for a number of reasons. Politically, they are America's ally in the Middle East, and we desperately need allies, especially Israel in the Middle East. I'm not at all in favor of the current administration and how they're handling it. These are interesting times.
Well, of course, Biden came out and condemned the the International Court's arrest warrant of Netanyahu.
Correct.
But he has more Palestinians in his administration than any other. The Huma Abedins and those key people, they hate Israel, and it's pretty obvious. And I reported yesterday, you may have heard this, that Iran's bragging they actually have a nuclear arsenal now. They have nuclear weapons, and that's thanks to, I think, Obama and the airplanes of cash, and Joe Biden unfreezing those bank accounts that Trump froze. But when you have the leader of Iran getting killed in a helicopter wreck, you wonder, do you think Norway, Ireland, and Spain think they're doing some kind of a calming down effect with this?
That could be how they're perceiving it. One of the things in the church that I had in Bend, Oregon, one of our most popular programs that we had was a man coming in and talking about Sharia law. And in Sharia law, I'm not an expert on it, but this is what he was teaching, and he said that it is okay in Islam to lie to the infidel to further the cause of Islam. So when we're dealing with nations in the Middle East who are saying one thing and doing another, you go back to the Quran, and I may be
it's in there.
criticized for saying this, but
it's in
okay
there
to lie to us.
Well, it is true. I mean, when Barry Soetoro, we know as Barack Hussein Obama, he converted to Muslim. And when you convert to Muslim, you can't be in between. But if you remember when he ran against John McCain for his first election, he claimed to be a Christian at the Saddleback Community Church under Rick Warren. He was asked, are you a Muslim or a Christian? He said, I am a Christian. That was obviously a lie because he later came out about his Muslim faith. He opened up the Muslim prayer the 3 times a day at the White House. And a lot of folks are seeing that. But anyway, and he went on the apology tour telling the world, do you remember his first 100 days, that we're no longer a Christian nation. So Barry lied.
Yeah, he did.
Anyway, we're getting off on that. Hey, tell us, USA Heartbeat and Street Level America. How long have you been in broadcasting, Dave? Over 30 years?
I've been in broadcasting about 50 years now, I think. I started started in high school. It was one of those part-time jobs that it was a career change. I was going to go to college and be a...
We're losing you. You there? If you're using any kind of a hands-free device, you might want to take that off. Those tend to mess up with the thing.
I'm in kind of a weak signal area. Let me climb the stairs here and get to a higher place where I can probably get better signal. It's not a hands-free. It's just that I'm in down in the basement.
Oh, I got you.
Co-op here upstairs. Maybe that improved it.
Well, I tell you what, but Street Level America and Heartbeat USA. Now, for my listeners out there, Street Level America broadcasts my show live, but you can also catch all my rebroadcast. There's an archive of all my shows on streetlevelamerica.com. That's streetlevelamerica.com. And they also partner with usaheartbeat.com. And between these two awesome organizations, it's syndicated me across the country, and I do appreciate it. Dave, have you made it to the higher ground?
Yes, I have. I am on the higher ground, and USA Heartbeat is a nonprofit. Street Level America is a for-profit. They both have the same essential goal, but they do it a little bit differently. So Street Level America is a for-profit. We can work without any limitations, working with businesses, and the nonprofit, of course, has some limitations. But both of them have the goal of promoting Judeo-Christian values and patriotic values. And we need to partner with other organizations. We're very and partner with you in promoting your show. Incidentally, the listenership on our podcast and our offerings did spike when we put the Macil Duncan show on.
Well, I was at the Harley shop today, buying me some new sunglasses, because they've got these cool new sunglasses out that help when it starts getting a little bit overcast or at the end of the day, it helps brighten your ride. Anyway, the guy Marcus, my buddy there that runs, he said, "Man, I've been hearing good things about your show," and he wanted to know more about USA Heartbeat and Street Level America. He does a podcast and stuff, but anyway, I was telling him about it. And so a little pastor salute and shout out to my Harley buddy Marcus and the White Lightning Harley here in Chattanooga. It's a great place. I love those guys. But with that said, I'm going to places around the city. Talked with Mark Harrison yesterday, the chairman of the GOP, and I think they like the show. They like what's happening, because you've also now took over managing 96 FM here in Chattanooga. Is that correct?
Well, 96.9 FM, I do the technical support of the back end, twisting the wires together and dealing with the computers, putting it on the air. And we're pretty excited about having a more Christian, family-friendly programming on the radio station here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So that was a labor of love. I've been in broadcast radio for a lot of years, and it's nice to get working on a transmitter again. So that was good. USA Heartbeat also has some other offerings like the Light America Blue and Blue Shield Prayer. We can talk about that for just a little bit.
Yeah, now the Light America Blue, that's the pro-police hotline. It's 24 hours. Am I correct on that?
Yes, it's what it is it's tied to an audio channel, and people can call the number that we'll give you here in a moment. And you can record a prayer. Of course, we listen to those before we put them on the audio channel. The idea is that an officer can click on that on any internet-enabled device, pretty much anywhere in the world. And if they've had a real bad day, we want them to know that there are people that support what they do, and more importantly, there are people praying for their safety and for them. If we want to be a nation of freedom in the United States of America, we have to be a nation of law and order. We have to have law and order to have freedom. If we don't have freedom and anarchy rules, we're not really free, because we are not free or safely to go from our home to work and back home again. So regardless of whether you had a bad experience with a particular officer, we have to have law and order in America. We need law enforcement. That's just the way it has to be. I've known a lot of people in my years. I spent a lot of years as a reporter covering police, fire departments. I was a wildland fire reporter and a cop shop beat reporter. Known a lot of police officers and law enforcement in my career, and the vast majority of these men and women are good, brave, decent men and women that are just trying to do a good job in right now a really bad situation, and they need our support.
You know, I've got to say that public school teachers and police officers probably are the least thanked people in our community for what they do for the public. Sadly, the teachers union has gone so left, and that's another story. But the police officers and sheriff's department around the country they get blamed for everything. If something happens up in New York City, the police officers and sheriffs down here in Chattanooga get the hate on them, and they weren't even there. Don't you sense that people get mad at one bad incident somewhere in the nation, and they take it out on all the police and all the sheriff deputies, and I just wish they could rethink that. That to me is it's just not fair.
An experience at the dentist or with a broadcaster, then they're all bad. And you can't say that about any profession, especially law enforcement.
Well, I tell you, the other thing I love what you have is the Forever Memories, and we're going to have to go to commercial break. When we come back, with Memorial Day coming around the corner, check out this opportunity, but listen to these messages.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back, my friends. This is Macil Duncan and the Macil Duncan Radio Show, broadcasting live on USA Heartbeat Radio, as well as Street Level America, but here locally in Chattanooga, Tennessee on 96.9 FM. And I've got a special guest, Dave Adams, and he's got the USAHeartbeat.com and StreetLevelAmerica.com that carries my show into 32 states, Mexico, and Canada, and has taken us coast to coast. He's on the line with us, and I've asked him to talk about the forevermemories.com. Dave, welcome back to the show, and tell us, what is this forevermemories.com?
Okay, first of all, let's set the phone number for the Blue Shield of Prayer. We didn't
yes.
that at the very end of class. So the phone number is 423-922-7742. It's 423-922-7742. You go there, leave a recorded message, use your first name, and, hey, this is Bill from Chattanooga, and you want to pray for police, then Pray for Police. We'll listen to those, and then we'll put them on that audio channel for the Blue Shield of Prayer. You can listen to the audio channel by going to the blueshieldofprayer.com. And just a note for WVMG, Destiny Life Media, our online player is up as of late last night. It's up today, and you can go onto the website and hear Destiny Life Media 96.9 FM in the United States, Canada, and England. In fact, we had a listener in England, Canada, as of last night that was listening to the show.
So it's interesting that you're able to monitor that, and I think you said it's at 26 countries now that have listened to my show. And
right.
it's amazing the technology that you have. But you've actually traveled the world in radio and have spent time overseas. So is American radio a step above what you've seen around the world?
I was in Nelson, New Zealand, sunny New Zealand, and I was managing a radio station they called it Shopping FM. I turned it into Sunny FM because it just made a whole lot more sense. It was a low-power FM station in Nelson, New Zealand. And one of the challenges I ran into was there was a definite prejudice against Americans. And because I was an American and I was managing the station, there were people in New Zealand. None of the businesses in town would buy advertising on my station because this may offend the people, and it's a curse word overseas, but I was a bloody Yank. And so he said, "You seem like a nice bloke, but you're a bloody Yank, so we won't do any business with you." That was my experience with them.
So, but you've been in radio, in case folks just tuned in, over 50 years. And
right.
but you have this new project that helps folks with their grieving loss. If you have a loved one, this is a great way to not forget them and let others know who they are, per se. And this special project you have here, can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, let's say my brother-in-law started the company. His wife is named JoJo. She's buried in Rossville, Georgia, along with his two daughters. So I was there at the Rossville Cemetery, the Tennessee Georgia Memorial Cemetery. He was visiting JoJo's gravesite and said, "Honey, I'd like to leave a card for you, but there's no place to leave it without it blowing away or getting damaged. We should have some kind of container to put it in." So then he thought of this box. It's a 7 by 6 by 2 inch, I believe, is the dimensions of it. It's a transparent box made of ABS plasticized material that is weather resistant and UV resistant. And it's got a sealable top, so you can put a picture, handwritten note, whatever, inside the box and keep it out of the weather. It Velcro attaches to the headstone, and you can put it on the headstone. And our motto is keeping memories alive. So as you go by the gravesite, you can see a picture of the person. You can read the note, if there is a note, through the clear front end of the container. And you can buy them on Amazon.com. The goal of My Forever Memories is to keep memories alive, and we have the memory box as a way of doing that. One of the ways of doing that, there's more things we're working on, like life stories that we're going to be posting on that website, myforevermemories.com.
So myforevermemories.com, I'm kind of reminded of Balboa when Sylvester Stallone played Rocky in his final film, and he was visiting the tomb of his wife, and he called it the tour, and had his son and others wanting to go. But anyway, I can see Rocky buying one of these, but it's a wonderful token you put at the gravesite of the one you love, and it's plexiglass see-through. You can put a picture, a statement, or allow others to place cards in there, and the seal will come off. They can put it back on, And Dave, you said you guys have done a test run to make sure that they're not damaged by weather or sun. So if they invest in one, how much do they cost, and how do they go about purchasing one of these?
Well, you can buy them online on our website. Their price is listed there, and we've had one out in the elements for about 6 months now, and it's holding up very well. In fact, it's holding up better than I thought it would. It is a special resin plastic that is designed to withstand the UV of the sun, and the sun can be kind of brutal with the ultraviolet rays. And then we want to keep the water off the pictures and so on and so forth. So they can just go to our website, myforevermemories.com, and they can find all the details there.
Well, I shared in my show that the feds have banned the Memorial Day event to honor fallen soldiers at the National Cemetery. In the last 2 years, they're calling that a demonstration and saying that it's no longer allowed to have a religious or any kind of recognition of our fallen soldiers. This Forever Memories would be a great way to kind of push back that you could put at your graveside, because if you've purchased it and it's in your family, your family's control, it'd be a great way to push back against those trying to keep us from remembering. Maybe even put that loved one military picture. Wouldn't it be great to have a national cemetery of fallen soldiers and have 1,000 of these out there, these soldiers in their uniform, to show honor and respect to these guys that defended this country?
I would agree with you on that. The problem we have with national cemeteries is there's some pretty significant restrictions on the items that can be placed on the gravesite. And so we can't place these boxes in national cemeteries and military cemeteries. But if you have a soldier that's buried in a regular cemetery, by all means, yes, we can do that.
Okay, so they would have to make sure it's a regular, not a national cemetery. That's a bummer. That is a bummer.
Yeah, that's the Army is the Army, and the military is the military, and they have certain restrictions, and you gotta love them. There's a chain of command and rules of which they run everything, and everything is tradition and rules, and that's drilled into them, and God love them for that.
Well, forevermemories.com, they can go and learn more about the product. We got 2 minutes before the break. Dave, again, could you tell us, Street Level America, you like to go on the streets and interview folks and catch their response. What got you the passion to be the street guy that wants to go out and engage people?
Everybody's got a story, and in my years in doing news, it's amazing that as you talk to somebody, you could just meet somebody on the street, and they have some pretty amazing stories. Just a person walking by, you have no idea what their story is. Everyone's got one, and some of these stories are very amazing. You have no idea until you ask them what their specific story is, and some of them are really engaging. You wouldn't know it just by looking at them. And so in my years as a news reporter, finding out these stories, I got very interested. I'm very interested in history, and really interested in having people share their stories as we've seen things kind of deteriorate on the national stage. And as I have been with grieving parents, Gold Star families who have lost their loved ones in Iraq and Afghanistan, some who were brutally tortured, and they just are, sobbing that hopefully that their son or daughter's death means something. And so that really got me really engaged in the patriotic realm of what I do. And also the Street Level America, the Street Talk is what a program we're going to be doing on WVMG, and that's also going to be aired on Street Level America and USA Heartbeat. But just going out and finding those stories. And as we find those stories, and as we get to know each other as members of the community, as members of Chattanooga or wherever we live, as we get to know and love and respect our neighbors, we're less likely to commit crimes against them because we're friends, we're family. God had designed all of us to be family in the family of God. So as we learn about each other's stories and we find out that they are real people with real stories, as we get to know them on that level, that's going to help heal society. And that's a big reason why I do that, other than the fact that they're just extremely interesting stories.
Well, you've got a gift, my friend, and if they haven't gone to the streetlevelamerica.com, You should go check that out. Dave interviews some great people. And again, that's where you catch all my shows. We're live right now on StreetLevelAmerica.com, and it will be replayed later. But Dave, thanks for coming on the show. We got to go to commercial break, but I appreciate you, my friend, and thanks again for all you do.
Thank you for all you do. We really appreciate it. Have you on USA Heartbeat Street Level America. You do a great job. I've been around a lot of people in broadcasting, and I always like to support those that are natural at what they do. And you, my friend, are a natural. You have a gift as well, and so we want to help you share that with more people. So working together, we can do more than we can do separately.
Well, thank you, my friend. God bless, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Hey, this is Greg Lane. I live in Hickson, Tennessee, and I just want to tell you how much I enjoy the Macil Duncan radio show. Man, I like to listen to it because he talks facts. I love the guy because he loves Jesus, and it's where I go to find out information what's going on in the world. But just awesome. I'm glad you guys have him on there, and just keep on keeping on. We love Macil Duncan. This is Greg Lane from Hickson, Tennessee.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. We're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show, my friends. This is Macil Duncan. I am the Patriot Pastor here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, broadcasting live on 96.9 FM and also USAHeartbeat.com and StreetLevelAmerica.com. Just had Dave Adams, the founder and president of the Street Level and USA Heartbeat Radio. Street Level America is a for-profit. USA Heartbeat is a non-profit. Between the two, though, they carry my show into 32 states, Mexico, Canada, and over 26 countries have downloaded and listened or watched the show. And so we appreciate them helping get our audience out. We're also on Rumble and X and locals.com under Macil Duncan Radio. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, and other places. Well, Illinois set to change description of offender to justice impacted individual in state law. We'll have later on the show Moms for America, Marie Wagner, who is from Chicago, and I'm going to be curious to hear her take on this since she is a former Chicagan. She's a very patriotic, cigar-smoking, patriotic lady that helps lead Moms for America, so don't miss that at 5 o'clock. But Illinois set to change the description of offender to justice impacted. Well, talk about maybe justice happening. Soros-funded DA Mike Schmidt is losing re-election in progressive utopia Portland. That's a shocker-ober. How about that? Soros-funded DA Mike Schmidt, he's up there in Liplock Liberal Utopia Land, Portland, and he's losing his re-election bid. That should be interesting. There's a lot of stuff happening in the news, but one thing I wanted to bring to your attention, if you haven't already heard, 3 prime ministers did a joint press conference, Norway, Ireland, and Spain, to recognize the Palestinian state. Here they are at CBN News covering.
Today, Ireland, Spain, and Norway announced they will recognize a state of Palestine.
Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision. In the lead up to today's announcement, I've spoken with a number of other leaders and counterparts, and I'm confident that further countries will join us in taking this important step in the coming weeks.
So you got Norway, Ireland, and Spain to recognize a Palestinian state. And we're finding out that a lot of this happened after the arrest warrant for Netanyahu was given by that international court. Now, Netanyahu strikes back. Israel Prime Minister denounces International Criminal Court after warrants were filed against him and his defense minister. And in a fiery rebuke, Netanyahu vehemently denounced the International Criminal Court after its prosecutor, Karim Khan, okay, the name implies there's a difference of faith, issued arrest warrants against him and his defense minister and Gallant. So, labeling the ICC's actions as moral outrage, Netanyahu defended Israel's military actions against Hamas. And this is the thing I think that just blows me away, how the global people on October 7th cannot remember it was Hamas that hang glided in with machine guns, opening fire on 300 college and young adult students at a music festival. They were not there for military purposes. They had absolutely no aggression in mind. They had no weapons. They were innocent victims to Hamas in starting a war, if you will. Not only did they do that, they took hostages, they raped, they pillaged, they murdered. They even put some kids inside baking pans that you use for a turkey and put kids in ovens alive, and they put seasonings on them like they would a turkey, if you will, and laughed while watching kids be put to death through a slow cooking oven. And you would have put their flag on your freaking flagpole? What have you been smoking? Norway, Ireland, and Spain. Bless your pea-picking hearts, but I'm going to tell you this. I never stand too amazed at some of these leaders. Who knows what they're told in their little private get-togethers. But the other thing that I think a lot of us are upset about, Iran and lawmaker this is an Iranian now, bragging that they are now equipped with nuclear bombs. That's right, this came out 2 days ago. Iranian lawmaker Ahmad Baksna Ardisian, I butchered it, but I tried. He claimed on Friday that Iran possesses nuclear weapons. Despite the country's formal policy under their supposed Obama treaty, they have been and do have nuclear bombs. This is Fox News reporting. So interesting there. Iran's leader was killed in a helicopter. They have now claiming they have nuclear weapons. So possibly what Norway, Ireland, and Spain prime ministers are doing is trying to appease to the middle. But all you're doing, in my opinion, is you're taking Hamas like you would a petulant child that pitches a fit. You know, you've ever seen a kid pitch a fit at Walmart? You know, begging their mom for some toy or candy. You know, if a kid pitches a fit and you turn around and buy them what they're pitching a fit about, you've taught that child that when you raise your voice, you get destructive or emotional or unruly, they're going to get what they want. By giving Hamas any kind of quarter or sympathies, or even saying verbally you'll respect them as a state, you've told them, ha-ha, all we have to do is get out some guns and some hang gliders, and let's see who else we can murder, and we're going to get what we want. I say Norway, Ireland, and Spain, it's in my opinion, you guys are wimps. And you're giving in to political pressure. May not agree with me, but that's okay. The world needs opinions. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. We'll have Jolene Carter coming on the show live from Virginia. She's in a state that was once blue, flipped red, and then it kind of went light blue in the midterms. We'll see what happens in 2024. We're just less than 5 months or so away from early voting, and Virginia is on the blocks again. Will they stay bluish? Will they lean back red? Or will they just go back completely blue? Because Youngston, the governor, and the lieutenant governor and the district attorney, they won in a landslide. But will they be able to maintain? It's going to be interesting to see how the state of Virginia goes. West Virginia, Joe Manchin's not even running for re-election. So their neighbor, West Virginia, at this point is 80% polling red. That's why Joe Manchin, a very successful and tenured long-term senator, said, I can't run for re-election. He honestly sees that he will lose. But the West Virginia, they're outraged. Why? Because they're a coal country. And the Green Energy Biden group has pretty much said, we're going to shut you and your economy down and what your heritage is all about. That's why Hillary Clinton, when she went and met with the coal mining family, she told them to their face, I'm going to shut you down. I don't know if you remember, that guy pulled out a picture of his family and said, you're going to hurt our families by shutting down these coal mines, shutting down our livelihood, our jobs. Donald Trump comes in. He starts drilling for oil. He starts producing clean coal, natural gas, and for the first time in 75 years, if you remember in 2018, America led the world in energy production, and we also led the world in exports of petroleum, clean coal, and natural gas. That's why they had to say, hey, we can't have him at second term. Because the deals that Mitt Romney, the Pelosi's, all these groups had made with their kids leading energy, they had these cushy energy jobs. It wasn't just Hunter Biden over in the Ukraine. The Ukraine war is not so much to me about Russia. It's about the future of Ukraine becoming an energy production state without the stipulations America has with all the unions and all the regulations that we have put on our personal companies. If you want to have some fun, go to Google and type in how many new businesses are starting in the Ukraine. A country supposedly at war. Might shock you how many new businesses have been started in this last 16 to 18 months in the Ukraine. Not to mention, did you know everyone that has a small business in the Ukraine gets a federal American tax kick? That's right. We send them stimulus money to help their businesses thrive. I'll be back.
Hi, my name is Beverly Reynolds. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I just wanted to let you know that I feel it's important to have the Macil Duncan radio show. I listen to him and support him completely because he tells the truth that we don't hear on mainstream media concerning local, state, national, world happenings. He talks about our nation that was formed as one nation under God with the inclusion of individuals' God-given rights. He speaks about God, our creator. He talks about our Constitution that guarantees those rights, and the people need to get involved in their freedom, liberty, and regaining and retaining and protecting their constitutional rights. So I believe everyone should hear his show. They should get involved, whether it's physical, it's prayer, whatever. They need to get involved and pay attention to what's going on, and he's putting that word out there. He's a true Christian patriot, and I wish all Americans could hear his show. Thank you. My phone number is 423-305-5944.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Macil Duncan. Welcome back to the show. We're broadcasting live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we had on the show earlier today Dave Adams. He's the founder and president of USA Heartbeat Radio and also StreetLevelAmerica.com. Between those two stations, they have me now in 32 states, Mexico, Canada, and 26 other countries. We're also on local here in Chattanooga, 96.9 FM, our flagship. And I'd like to give a pastor salute out to my buddy Marcus at the Harley White Lightning Shop. He likes to listen to the show, and he has a podcast, and I need to have him back on the show. But it's 4 o'clock on Wednesday, and that means we have Jolene Carter from Virginia on. And Jolene, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Now,
how are you doing?
I'm good. I don't have the car wrecks that you guys have dealt with. Your son and then your husband.
I know.
I mean, y'all pretending you're playing bumper cars? What's the deal?
I know. It's crazy. I tell you what, the rental car that they gave Mike is so nice. It's like a Jeep, the Renegade. Wrangler, anyway, 2024, and we have been so spoiled driving that thing around.
You need to call. You need to call the mechanic. Say, hey, take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, I know. We have to turn it in, I think, tomorrow, but it has just been, the nicest car.
Well, you need to take. You guys need to go on a date tonight. Enjoy that sucker.
Yeah, I know, or even a drive. We thought about going down to the Outer Banks and doing, drive. You can drive on the beach down there. But we just been so busy with other things, we didn't get a chance to do it.
Well, I understand that. Any LSU news?
Well, Mike has been following baseball.
Right.
So I don't know if you follow baseball, but so I think they were playing Kentucky. They got 2 grand slams in one game. So I think it's a record breaker. So for the SEC tournament, he's having to tell me this because I'm not really.
My buddy Doug Henshaw's down there. He goes every year. He's a Tennessee fan, of course, and he's into baseball. But I am. I'll go to Chattanooga Lookouts here locally. I've been to some Brave games, but I like it better live. It's hard for me to watch it on TV. It's a little slow for me.
Yeah. I was into it last year at the finals when LSU was. In the finals, and I wish I would have watched it all year because it was really good. They had some really good players.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I haven't been so much into it this year.
Well, I guess your Dallas Cowboys, you guys are revving up for the new year, and I think Jerry Jones made some announcement. He's got a shakeup coming. I don't know what it is, but what do you think about the Kansas City Chiefs, though? That punter,
I know,
and that speech. And he's got the number 1 jersey now selling in the country.
Yeah, he sure does. I mean, I'm just like, what is wrong with people? They're just looking for something to complain about. His speech, I thought it was excellent speech. It was, they just took it out of context. I don't think they even listened to it.
Well, you and Mike have traditional values. Of course, he works for CBN 700 Club. You guys are strong Christian people, but I'm just shocked that you're up there in Virginia, which used to be a blue state. So you probably got and what I call lip lock liberals around you. Have you heard any of the liberal neighbors or anyone talking about the punter? Did they get offended?
None of my neighbors have really said anything, but I've seen a few Facebook posts from people that I'm really surprised that they were negative about it because they're Christians, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And it took everything I had not to respond back. But yeah, it was kind of weird. But for the most part, everybody else was all for it, and he was, to me, I think he was highlighting women who the secular world seems to condemn. If you decide to stay home and raise your children, the secular view is, just that you're nothing. And I think he was trying to, highlight the importance of that. That's what I got out of it. He was speaking at a Catholic school to Catholic students.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
come on.
The thing I think they try to tell women is, if you stay home and raise kids, you're missing out on opportunities. And I think what he was trying to say, no, the opportunities is being a homemaker and raising children. Is that a good summation, or do you think I'm hitting it pretty close?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was saying, your career is important, but the most important, is being a mother. I mean, you can't, if anyone puts that second, then something's wrong with them. And, there's nothing wrong with working and trying to raise a family. Now, it's hard. It's really hard to do, but some people do it. Some people choose not to. And that's what I got out of it. I don't know any woman that's I mean, every young girl, that's their dream from when they're a little girl. I can't wait to get married and have babies. And I think he was just talking about how important that is, as well as your career.
Well, in that new Barbies movie that came out a few months back, I didn't see it, but I was told in kind of the opening part, the girls destroy their babies or slam and break their heads or something. Trying to break that mindset mold that all little girls want to do is grow up to be feminine, to have babies and be married. So it kind of goes against the Barbie narrative, the recent movie. Not saying if you have Barbies you should burn them or anything like that, but I'm just saying I think a lot of people are sensing how, and this is what I don't understand. I'm going somewhere with this. Why are they still pushing feminism, but then trying to push transgenderism to dovetail and take away women's rights?
I know.
Where's the outrage of feminists? I can't believe they're, deep down they're pissed. And they just want, I'm not supposed to say maybe that word too, but they're upset.
Well, yeah, but they're not going to admit it. But, yeah, they should be the first ones coming to the rescue of these women's sports, men competing in women's sports. Like, you never hear a feminist say anything about it, and that should be their number one thing. The silence, And I saw something that was kind of funny. It said that somehow what's his name, the kicker, was able to bring these people, bring the left to know the definition of a woman somehow when they've been wondering.
Maybe somehow he might have helped Supreme Court Justice Jackson, when Marsha Blackburn, our senator, asked her, can you define a woman? And it was classic when she says, I can't. And then Miss Marsha looks, she says, you can't? And and I think what she meant by she can't, she's like saying, I can't because I'm a lip-lock liberal. The progressives will kill me if I give a real definition of a woman.
I know it. But they sure knew what a woman was when he made those statements. So it's such a hypocritical, crazy, none of it makes any sense. I just have no respect for people like that because they don't think for themselves. They're just told what to think.
Well, for his jersey sales to go up, and now he's the number one jersey in the NFL. And he's even outselling his quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, which is the best quarterback in the league right now. I think America, and another one is Caitlin Clark. Her jersey is still the highest one in the globe. She's setting attendance records. They even had more at the women's game than the Indiana Pacers the other night. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but I'm not surprised.
Now, of course, some of them in the WNBA are looks like they're enjoying trying to break her in. They're being a little, and I'm going, you guys break her leg or twist her ankle, and watch the attendance tank. And then, they don't understand. Caitlin Clark is selling women's basketball. She's putting butts in the seats. They're selling more hot dogs, popcorns, and Cokes. That means everyone's boat rises. I'm not saying go easy on her, but be nice.
Great point, because if they take her out, then they're going to, a lot of people won't go to games. I mean, that's why they're going.
Well, she got a couple of flagrant fouls that you could tell it was like like they're trying to let her know, hey, we were here before you. And I'm like going, okay.
Yeah. I know.
You guys didn't have private flights until she came along. You know, now they get private flights. You want to go back to the buses and putting those big 6'4" bodies in buses? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just be smart.
I read that the coach was saying that she wanted her to be more of a 2-point scorer than a 3-point scorer. And I thought, what? Did you read that?
Yeah, that coach needs to go. I think that
was crazy.
Hey, we're coming up on a break. I'll be right back with Jolene Carter from Virginia after the messages.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. We're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes? That's 33.3333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Nestle, the world's largest food company behind such brands as DiGiorno Pizza, Hot Pockets, and Stouffer's, is releasing a line of new frozen food products targeting a specific group of people, those taking weight loss drugs. Nestle announcing it will begin to market $5 pizzas and protein-enriched pastas to American shoppers who use weight loss medications like Wegovy and Ozempic. They will be under a new brand called Vital Pursuits, described as food solutions, complementing the eating habits of millions of Americans who are prescribed a weight loss drug. The products are set to hit store shelves in October.
So Nestle is coming up with these new foods for folks taking the weight loss drugs like Ozempic. So what do you think about that, Jolene? Do you know? Now you're a skinny Winnie. You don't. I guess you've never been fat in your life.
Oh, no, that's not the case.
What?
I used to be skinny.
Well, your big toes swelled up, I'm sure. But I'm one. I've got to be honest with you. I've never met a fork I didn't like. You know,
Same here. I
me and
think about. I love it.
But
Especially eating at night.
what do you think? Of course, you know Kelly Clarkson's been criticized. Evidently, she lost a lot of weight, but supposedly not the way she first said. She kind of came clean with Whoopi. Now, who in the world would want to come clean on anything with Whoopi Goldberg? But
Oh, I know. But she did lose a lot of weight, and she lost it like almost overnight. And I'm like, what did she do?
she had that new diabetic drug. If you get labeled a diabetic, they will give you, and I can't remember the name. Is it Weepy or something?
Yeah,
Drug.
Wegovy or Ozempic. Yeah, everybody around here is taking that drug and talking about it. I think they're called GLPs or something.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem very healthy to me.
Here's my concern, and I'm going to see what you think. Don't you think? Would you take any shot under the FDA and under a Biden administration?
Oh my goodness!
Just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
they talk about depopulation and stuff. I don't think I'd take it. I just don't. I don't trust the FDA
trust
under
them at
the
all.
under the Biden administration because of the other crazy stuff they're pulling, and all this miracle weight loss stuff. I'm just the C word comes to mind: cancer.
Yeah.
And the FDA and Big Pharma, they're not our friends. I think we know
they're
that.
not.
So I just
Absolutely not.
and when you can
No.
lose weight that fast, and especially when they advertise you don't have to exercise.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it's safe. I mean, I've never had to be on one, but you know, I hear a lot of people talking about it, and their friends are on it and losing a whole lot of weight on it. And I don't know.
Do you remember the old drug called Fen-Phen?
I do. Yeah, I remember that.
Does that remind you of a new word called fentanyl? I mean, they were getting these people jacked up on speed, and it was messing with their thyroids.
Oh, really? I knew they took it off the market.
Yeah.
I didn't know why.
That's my whole
So it
point.
was messing with thyroid. Huh?
It was a fad, but people were having heart attacks, thyroid, all these issues, side effects, and and any of my fat friends out there, just be careful. You know,
Yeah.
if you can hit a gym or do a treadmill or do some light walking, and lose it slowly, whenever you can lose weight fast, like these drugs. Do you remember Ally, the drug weight loss
Yeah,
back?
I do remember that.
Okay, people were doing it. It made you mess your pants and stuff anyway, because it basically gave you diarrhea. I mean, let's just. But the problem was they found out you lost muscle mass more than fat, so people were losing their strength, and so all these things have such bad side effects. I think it's. I mean, I'm all for losing weight, and if you have a doctor saying, "Hey, you need to lose 20 pounds fast," maybe try that on a short term. But if you make that a lifestyle using these kind of drugs, don't you find that it's going to be dangerous?
Right, and you have to stay on them. You know, like if you get off them, are you going to get fat again? You
Well,
know,
the
I don't-
prescription, because I went to my doctor and I asked about him, and he's a very holistic. He said, "Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I could prescribe that, and you could lose some weight. It'd take you about 6 months to maybe 8 months to a year. The problem is once you come off the drug,
Yeah.
he goes, you'll put the weight back on most times.
Real fast.
He goes, it would be much better, Pastor, and I felt like I was getting a lecture again, which I needed, if you would just exercise more. And Bobby Parker, my Marine buddy, is listening with a laugh. And by the way, Bobby's competing for Mr. Something. If you go to Bobby Parker's Facebook page and vote for him, he's got these muscle pictures up. He's competing for Mr. America Muscle something. I can't remember the title. And he's in the
I
top.
like listening to him.
He's coming back. He's
Yeah.
coming back. We're working it out. We just, the rebuild, the 96.9, the studios and stuff. It's been a slow build, but Bobby's coming back. but he is still ripped as ever. He was at the national Chattanooga Leaders Area Prayer Breakfast with me, and all of us are eating biscuits and gravy and all this stuff. He's over there eating the high protein stuff.
Oh God, that's so hard.
Oh,
Some
it is.
people just have discipline, you know. I mean, I wish I was born with it. You know, but some people would never miss a workout. My sister's like that. She is so into fitness, never misses a workout. You know, just and it takes everything I've got just to take a walk. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know.
Don't you just want to slip some carbs in their coffee somehow and just say?
and she thinks she's fat, you know, and I'm like,
Oh, I
you
know.
weigh 115. Oh my gosh.
We're probably fat shaming somebody out there, and I'm sorry. We're not trying to hurt your feelings. If you're battling weight, do the best you can. But I will say this: we live here in the Chattanooga area, and they sell moon pies and Little Debbie's.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that'll tell you something about why you have some obesity issues here in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
They're talking about processed foods, but, you know, that's what's killing us. And I try not to. I think they have stuff in them that makes you addicted to them. Because, I mean, there's times, I'm just thinking about, you know, I just really want some of this ice cream. And if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it.
Well,
the
fructose syrup that's in a lot of these sweets, that's addictive. And
I feel like it is. Because I don't know why. I obsess over it. It's like, and I'm trying to get off drinking Cokes, you know, and, you know, after a while you think, okay, you know, I'm off, but I could still drink one right now. Like, even though I have stopped, I still crave it, you know.
Well, quickly, the feds are banning Memorial Day event to honor fallen heroes from National Cemetery because the Biden administration calls it a demonstration.
Wow.
So, now, this started back in 1960s. The Knights of Columbus have held a Memorial Day event at the Poplar Grove National Cemetery, except the past 2 years. This will be the third year in a row Joe Biden's group has said you can't honor the fallen heroes on Memorial Day.
That is just shameful.
And so...
Man, that's pathetic. That's the kind of thing people, you know, you're going to rile people up over that. And it's a bunch of that kind of stuff happening all the time.
We got a lot of folks, you know, a lot of people that are not happy. And then I find this out. I feel like I'm at a wake. A Biden, New Hampshire attendee described his funeral-like atmosphere.
Yeah.
He tried to hold a rally. It was very low attended. The guy that got 81 million votes, mind you, they have all these empty chairs. It didn't look like 24 people in the room.
Exactly.
And they said it felt like a wake. The lady said, I feel like I'm at a funeral. Now, that was a lady that came to support him. Isn't that pretty damning if a supporter were to say that about a candidate?
Well, I mean, it was like that, you know, in 2020, he couldn't draw 12 people. And they tried to convince us that he had 81 million votes.
Well, they did the hula hoops. You remember standing in a hula hoop?
Yeah.
And they couldn't get 100 folks, but we found out a lot of the media were the ones standing in the hula hoops.
Yeah.
Because some of them left their badges, their credential badges on at that time. But anyway, with the election coming up, there's been talk that Biden may get switched out because for some reason the media's kind of turning on him and exposing him. But if I'm not mistaken, you can't be on the ballot without doing some prep work and signatures and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think Michelle Obama or Kamala Harris? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. Now, Dan Bongino, he's, you know, has a lot of inside information. He said his source told him they are not going to be running Joe, and I'm like, wow. Now I don't, you know, no for sure, but I'm not surprised. I don't see how they can, but I cannot figure out who they would run.
Yeah, that's I don't understand because Jobo, he's obviously his age, and now he's all of a sudden said he would debate Trump.
Yeah,
he's going to get annihilated.
I don't know. They're going to juice him up real good or something.
Well, and Trump agrees. CNN's hosting one, and who's the other one? Is it ABC?
Well, it's one of the mainstream media. He had stipulations, you know, like no audience, mic's turned off. this and that. And I'm like, why do you get to set all the rules? And then no JFK or RFK can't be in there either. I'm like, why?
Yeah, this is what would be scary. What if the Democrats coalesced around Kennedy at the last hour in August at their convention? That would be an interesting Kennedy versus Trump. I think that could be a better, kind of like Biden versus Trump. I would like to have seen that, those debates, because Hillary Clinton was a loser. Joe Biden's a loser. But I don't know why the Democrats, it's like they want to show you, we'll embrace losers and show you how we can steal an election, because they're not very convincing.
Well, no, and you don't see many of them campaigning either, because it's like they know they're going to win because they're going to cheat.
Here's my point. If the Democrats put Tulsi Gabbard and, say, Joe Manchin, and they won, that would be very believable. Because they're likable. I mean, they lean left. I'm not saying I'd vote for them. But Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris getting 81 million votes. That just it doesn't seem like that was a reality.
Well, no, it's not. And if you look at the bellwether states and the counties, it doesn't add up. And then like in Nevada, in Pennsylvania, Minnesota, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia, the turnout was 125%.
And that's what they won't touch that. And I just read here where it says Donald Trump. Let's see. Donald Trump scores poll boost in 5 critical battleground states, and this was in Newsweek. That's what I'm saying. The media. I think the trials were a complete backfire, but the Michael Cohen trial, when he admitted on the stand to 6 felonies that were worse than Trump, what they're accusing Trump of, his 6 were worse than what they're accusing Trump of. That shows you the gerrymandering and the deals that Alvin Bragg made. That makes this thing very political.
Oh, and that Judge Merchant that's overseeing it. Okay, so his daughter is a major, Democrat, she has some kind of business where she employs Democrats. His wife works with Letitia James. These Dems from New York and New Jersey are sending money to his daughter's home in Richmond, Virginia. I mean, come on. What does it take to, stop this? Now, I think Elise Stefanik made a statement, or she's, whatever it is that they do, is to look into this, because it's just ridiculous.
Well, as I said in this Newsweek article, it says that Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican candidate, what do you mean presumptive? He's going to be the candidate. You guys kill me, but that's liberals. But they said Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Right now, he's winning in all 5 battleground states if the election were today. And but then Wall Street Journal put out that the 58% the people that handle Wall Street, they're predicting that Joe Biden will win by 58.9%. That came out today.
Way. Wow, that's crazy.
So do you think, and I know this is going to be a crazy question to ask, but is the presidency for sale? Or is it? Do you think our votes really do determine who is the president, or are we just a suggestion?
Well, I used to think that we, had a say in our votes and stuff, but not anymore. Not anymore. I think Trump, when he won, I think it took him by surprise. But I think they've cheated in every election. I think it's like, I mean, just think about McCain and Bush. I don't know. I just feel like it's,
If you go back to the hanging chads of 2000 with Bush and Gore, they over-accentuated that to get us to agree to get rid of that voting system. Was harder to cheat on than the ones they brought in. Now the Smartmatic machines and these other machines are hooked up to the internet, even though they say they're not. Now the former Miss New Jersey was a part of the Project Veritas, and she was on my show. And when you go into a building You could pull up how much you go and see how many internet connections there are.
Right.
She was some of those that outside the building. They took pictures and they showed how many internet connections were outside the building. There may be one or two. Then they went inside where the voting machines were, and before they got to the voting, they took a picture, and it'd be like 7 to 8 that were showing inside the building that weren't showing outside the building. Why would you have that many connections inside a voting booth when it's illegal? It is technically illegal for voting machines to be hooked up to the internet.
I know. So they could flip votes and do all these things that they did. And I tell you what, everybody needs to volunteer on election night and go down to their local voting place and let people know they're being watched.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you ever watch American Idol?
Oh, you know what? I loved it in the past, and for some reason, I just stopped watching it. And then for this season, for some reason, I started watching it, and I was obsessed with it. It was so good.
Yeah, Judy and I loved it this year. A lot of Christian kids singing.
There
But
were.
do you find it interesting that Ryan Seacrest can announce the polls are closing after this commercial, and he announced who's the winner? If American Idol can get 40-some million votes to pick a freaking music champion, do you think we need to hire American Idol to run the elections?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think about that, but you're right. Because these people were calling in, and they had the results within, 5 minutes.
I think we should hire Chick-fil-A to run the voting procedure process, and hire American Idol to get the data. And hey, by 11 o'clock, we all know who won. And we go to bed.
I know. That's the way it should be. I mean, it could be that way if they did everything the way they're supposed to. But
do you remember 2020 going to bed thinking Trump won?
Yeah, I was watching it, and then it got kind of late, and I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and Trump was talking, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was confused because he was upset, and and I'm like, what just happened? Like, what? It was very confusing because I had fallen asleep, and the next thing I know is that Biden's ahead.
Well, I've had some international callers, and there's a young lady that listens to my show in Memphis, who's from over in Europe, in England. So she would tell her mom, and her mom would watch on Facebook. Her mom called in from England to the show. And she let me know two things. One, that she was a bitter Christian for 20 years, but she got her heart right and became back in the fold of Christ and was praying. And in the 2020 election, they were pulling for Trump, of course. She said they went to bed because they announced, over in Europe, and her friend over in Wales, they announced Trump won the election. Okay, then we all get up and find out, oh no, all of a sudden Joe Biden did the sleeper Joe did a sleeper comeback. So that tells you there's something, because she said, and she called in my show and told me, they'll go, yeah, we all went to bed and we were told Trump won over in Europe.
Yeah, they flipped. We saw them flip votes in real time.
Well, yeah, and then go back and watch the replays. And do you remember when Chris Wallace said Fox News is going to call Arizona for Trump? Only 1% of the votes in, but we're confident he's won Joe Biden's won Arizona.
Yeah.
1% of the vote. Well, then if you go over and watch Wolf Blitzer at CNN, this doesn't sound coordinated. Coordinated. Wolf Blitzer says, well, Fox News' Chris Wallace just called Arizona for Trump, so we're going to go with Fox News and agree that Trump won Arizona. When has CNN ever used Fox News as a source of authority?
Right. I know, it was all coordinated together, in the media, all of it. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. But, how did Biden only win 477 counties, which is the lowest of any winning president, yet he got 81 million votes. And for comparison, Trump got 2,497 counties, and Obama got 689. So, there's so many things that don't make sense. So many things that are just right in your face that there was cheating, that nobody, would take it up, or, I don't understand how they got away with it like that.
With this level of frustration you and I still have today, 3 years away, do you now understand why Liz Cheney, Pelosi, and them had to make an example out of January 6 protesters?
Oh, yeah.
Because they know there's more of us than them. They can pay their crisis actors, their Antifas, and their border crossing kids. But if we're a sleeping giant. If enough Americans really woke up and said, "Listen, this has got to stop."
Oh, I agree.
I know two politicians that told me when the phones ring in massive amount and folks really show that they're upset about an issue, they tend to respond.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But January 6th,
I don't know anybody that would be protesting right now because they'd be thrown in jail.
Well, don't you think January 6th was an example? If you get out of line, you disagree with us and our selection process, if we tell you 81 million votes, you better believe it.
You don't even question it, yeah.
And then you have you have the 2000 Mules documentary.
Yeah,
Did you watch that?
I know. It was just crazy. I think I sent this to you yesterday, but I'm not sure if you saw it. They arrested a pastor yesterday in D.C. He was just praying and handing out like postcards, and a young woman was filming it, and he wasn't doing anything wrong, and they arrested him.
In D.C.
And if that's where we're at now, I mean.
They want to keep Christians and conservatives afraid to go to D.C. So when they have their crazy lip-lock liberal marches, it looks like there's more of them than us. But did you know at the January 6th rally, they've yet to tell us, but that they believe that Trump had over 1 million people in Washington.
Oh, I believe he did.
Now here's the thing I'm still shocked about, and I'm going to say it again. Why? Because when you look at all the major events, when you had O.J. Simpson in the white Bronco chase, okay?
Yeah.
When there were you have helicopters flying, on the spot reporters. Think of the event. How come when they shut down Washington D.C. after the election, and they put fencing around the White House, the Supreme Court, the Capitol, you could not enter or leave D.C. without a photo ID. Why was there no reporting on the ground? Why was there no helicopters flying? Why the secrecy?
Oh, yeah. Very weird stuff that day. There were different edits of the weather being different, and some of the people standing in one place and in the next. I don't know how to
This is just fact jacks. I'm not saying. I'm just saying they had 40,000 troops brought into D.C. after January 6th. Now, I know the Q people said, oh, that's because of military tribunals. They're cleaning out D.C. and they're killing all the pedophiles. I'd love to believe that, but I got to see it before I believe. I'm not going that far. But, hey, Q people, I hope it's true. I would love to see a clean slate of the justice system. But my point is, what are they hiding? Why did they not want us to see that? And many of us saw the video of when Joe Biden did the first drive-by, and the troops turned their back and wouldn't salute him.
They certainly did.
That was one of the few camera moments, Right. Yeah. And where was the Facebook Lives from Marjorie Taylor Greene, Bobart, and Kat? How everybody went silent?
I know, it's very, very bizarre, the whole thing. But, if you really, truly know that you won, you don't have to bring in the National Guard and fix up everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they had to do all of that because they know they cheated.
Well, my point, if I was Biden and I won by 81 million votes, I would say, recount it, my friend, pizza for the world, and I would be doing a party. I would rub it in Donald Trump's face. I would have said, "Oh yeah, 81 million, baby," and I would have recounted. I would have had the bands playing. Man, I would have rubbed it in his face and said, "Take that, Big Orange." But no, that's not what happened. They started destroying machines, hiding things. Exactly. We got to go to a break. Jolene, if you'll hang on, I'll be right back. This is the Macil Duncan Show on Street Level America, Heartbeat USA, and 96.9 FM. If you'd like to call in and leave a message why you love the show, call 629-282-1776. That's 629-282-1776. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name's Dave. I'm a Vietnam veteran and live in North Georgia, not far from East Ridge, Tennessee. I like listening to Patriot Pastor Macil Duncan. He keeps up with fast-moving news, which keeps me on the cutting edge of information that we all need to know. I like the music and stories he has. I like that he helps the homeless folk, and we could all help with that. I love God, and America is my country. Thank you for all that you do. Goodbye.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This is the Macil Duncan Show. Welcome back. My name is Macil Duncan. I'm broadcasting live from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we're on the 96.9 FM, as well as Heartbeat USA and Street Level America. We're in 32 states, Mexico, Canada, 26 other countries, and multiple sites on the internet. And you can go to Rumble xlocals.com and type in Macil Duncan Radio and find the show. And I hope you guys will do that. Tell your friends. We've been talking about some of the things happening at the Michael Cohen trial. Here's a quick clip. See what you think. This is today.
I think the revelation, though, this morning about the theft of $30,000, which was doubled because they covered his taxes, so $60,000, it came out in a glancing, unclear way on direct. It came out like a bomb earlier today. I don't know how much they can do to fix that. It just, at a certain point, it is the fact Michael Cohen did steal this money. And what makes that really so important, Wolf, is it's not as if Michael Cohen was just stealing on the side. That'd be bad enough. The problem is he was stealing from the exact reimbursement at issue in this case. So the prosecution's core argument is Donald Trump knew what that $420,000 was all about. He was totally read in on it. Turns out Michael Cohen was stealing from him within that $420,000.
So that's CNN News telling us pretty clearly that they don't believe what's going on in New York is legit. So when you have a lip-lock liberal, CNN News, say that Michael Cohen's a liar, the case has fabrication possibilities, that's the concern that many have. Now I've got Jolene Carter on the line. Jolene, you're from Virginia, a blue state that flipped red. What do you think is the mindset of the Michael Cohen trial up in Virginia? You think they see Trump as being now a victim?
Oh yeah, I think all of this is just making Trump's numbers go higher and higher. And I read earlier that some of the staff, they're on this trial, they're even saying they feel like it's unfair, and it doesn't look good, on them. So it's like, it's not just conservatives. I just think they're so desperate. I don't know why they would put Michael Cohen on the stand. It just hurt them really bad. And and you could tell because the judge got real upset. I mean, it's just it's a hot mess, I'll tell you.
Well, the interesting thing is Michael Cohen, according to several legal analysts, he admitted to 6 felonies on the stand. And those 6 felonies and fraud are actually more egregious than what they're accusing Trump of.
Right.
So that shows the deal. They made a deal with a felon who's already been convicted of lying. He's lost his law license. Right. So they've overlooked his 6 felonies as a star witness. But I brought to your attention earlier in the show Norm Eisen. He's the key architect behind the Color Revolution and the 180 lawfare cases against Donald Trump. He was actually revealed Friday in testimony, and he actually, after the court, was hiding behind a police escort. This guy is that behind-the-scenes weasel. You know how you have a weasel behind the scene of most problems?
Yes.
I've never heard. Have you ever heard of this guy's name before?
Not until you told me.
Norm Eisen. Okay, he's a lawyer, and if you go to Wikipedia, it's quite interesting. But just to sum up, he was exposed in the trial through testimony by Robert Costello, and he testified that Norm Eisen coerced Michael Cohen to pay Stormy Daniels out of his own pocket, and that they would save this scandal for when they needed it, which I guess is now. But this Norm Eisen worked in the Obama administration and actually drafted the articles of impeachment against Trump prior to the phone call that Trump made to the Ukraine.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was a trap. And this guy, he orchestrated 180 lawsuits against Trump.
And I assume that he was probably behind the Mar-a-Lago raid, too.
Well, yes, and since you bring that up, the judge, as you know, put it off indefinitely because Jack Smith, one of his documents has now been released by the judge, showing that they have permission to use a deadly force if necessary.
I know.
It's in writing.
I tell you what, this was, in my opinion, this was an assassination attempt. They wanted a shootout. Thankfully, Trump wasn't there. I don't know why. I don't know. He was tipped off. And they were going through Melania stuff, Barron stuff, and I'm like, they've gone. Barron has had a more aggressive search than Hunter Biden. Come on.
That's where you got to go. I think folks are finally waking up. All these GOP finally going to New York, defending Trump, taking stands.
Yes, I'm glad to see that.
It's about freaking time.
It is. I'm like, okay, just quit tweeting and do something.
And I think that's where I'm just with 2024 election coming. Going back to what we discussed a little bit ago, do you think Joe Biden will be the guy, or do you think they're going to switch candidates?
I think they're going to switch candidates, and I have no idea who. I don't think they're going to put Kamala in there because she's more disliked than Biden. So,
well, because of the voter process, though, they have to have signatures per state to qualify to get on the ballots.
Right. Now, he can't be on Ohio ballot unless they move the date of their convention.
Right.
And Ohio is a key state, so this is a big deal.
Well, see, they've already pushed it back from July to August. That's my point. I wonder if they're doing this intentionally because they're going to have to. I don't know all the legal ramifications, but there's some states that require you to so many months out. You've got a petition because that's what they were doing to Kennedy. They were trying to keep him off some ballots. But he got the signatures and went through the process. Kennedy's now on all 50 ballots. Do you think there's any chance the Democrats finally say, hey, he's a better candidate than Joe, and embrace Robert Kennedy?
Well, it's possible, but I don't know that he would be the puppet that they would want. He's pretty left, but I don't know that he would be like Biden. They need somebody like Biden in there because we know who's really controlling things. So I don't know.
Well, that's where I think we're seeing now the Democrats where they were back during the Reagan years. They were discombobulated because right now the Democrats do not have any young rising stars. They had Tulsi Gabbard and they blew it. AOC's a failure. The squad's a failure. Akeem Jeffries is unlikable in all the polls. He's not nationwide. He's not acceptable.
Right.
But
that's really knowable.
But Kennedy's acceptable. In a couple of polls, they said he wouldn't win the election, but he's more likable than Biden and Trump.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
If they really wanted to win, then I think that's something they would do. But I think they want power and control more. So I just don't know.
But they've got to have. You got to go through the process to get on the ballots. What I'm saying.
Right.
Unless they've secretly done this and got their candidate. Because you can do stuff in secret all the time, I'm sure, with the government. Yeah. So I'm just curious because a lot of folks speculate it'll be Michelle Obama. The Q people have it on the drops. If you looked at the 8chan, 4chan, it talks about when will they make the move to her. They're implying it will be a female.
Right. I know that she has denied that she would run, but I don't believe that. I think that, they would.
Oh, that plays into their narrative, acting like, well, I'm only doing this because Joe's so bad off, because I wonder if they're going to have Joe have an accident. Is he going to choke on his pudding? Will his
debate during the debate? Because I'm surprised he's going to debate Trump. So I'm wondering if that's a setup or something.
Have you watched the movie Dave? And he plays the president. He's an imposter.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? You remember at the end, he's rubbing his head and he pretends that he has, an aneurysm and dies. You remember that? Could you see old Joe rubbing the forehead in the middle of a debate, falling down, dying, and get the sympathies of the world for the Democratic Party? We had Joe Biden pass away. And you're like going, no, he passed away several years ago mentally. But anyway, and have that. I'm just throwing all these scenarios out there that you just wonder because I don't see. They know we don't believe 2020 that he won.
No.
There's no freaking way we're going to believe. There's no way we're going to believe if they rigged 2024 for Joe Biden. That's going to be so unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to be believable. I mean, there's just no way. But they're juicing him up so much. He was talking the other day for like a minute or so and a half. Not one time did he blink. I mean, he is so juiced up. And if they keep doing that to him, he's going to have a heart attack or something. And Trump asked for a drug test, before the debates, and press secretary. They wouldn't comment as to whether they would do a drug test or not. So,
well, hey, we got to go. It's time for Maria Wagner. But hey, I've enjoyed having you on again, Jolene, and thanks so much for all you've done.
Well, thank you.
And tell Mike I hope he's feeling better. And as you turn in the car tomorrow, the rental, I understand. I've been there. I've had to go back to the junker after having the rental. It is a tough time.
Yeah.
Well, guys.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate it.
We'll have you on again soon. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
That was Jolene Carter. We're going to the break.
My name's Doug Henshaw. I'm calling from northeast Tennessee, what they call the Tri-Cities area, Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City. I live in a little town called Elizabethton, and I listen to the Macil Duncan show, number one, because he approaches everything with a biblical worldview in mind, and by saying that, I mean he really seeks and researches to try to find the truth about a matter, and the motivation of why people do what they do, and just seeks the truth. And his sources are very reliable sources that he depends upon, and he just gives us the world through the biblical lens of a biblical worldview. That's number one reason why I listen to the show. And I love America because of our founding and our freedoms that we share. We live in the greatest country in the world, and we need to really pray and fight for what we have, and to move back towards what makes us great as America, and that is our founding and what we believe in, a belief in God. And so I love the Patriot Pastor show, now the Macil Duncan show. I listen to it on a regular basis, and I pray for the show and pray for Brother Macil.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe.
Hey, Jolene.
Maria.
Hey. We're pretty good. Might have to start a band.
I know.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is Macil Duncan. Welcome back to the show. We're broadcasting live from Chattanooga, Tennessee on 96.9 FM. We're also on USAHeartbeat.com and StreetLevelAmerica.com. That takes us into 32 states, Mexico, and Canada. We've also got folks on our Rumble X channel and Locals.com, Facebook, and Instagram. And thanks all that listen. And don't forget True Social, Macil. I forgot True Social. We appreciate all that like and share the show, and tell your friends about the Patriot Pastor, Macil Duncan Show. We've got special every Wednesday. I've got Jolene Carter, Moms for America, with me. Jolene, how you doing? Excuse me, Maria Wagner. I get you two mixed up today for some reason.
That's okay.
I am. I'm having fun, I guess, at your expense, but. How are things going, Maria Wagner?
Things are going really well, Macil. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was very curious to see what you thought about what's going on there in your state when they said they're going to rename in Illinois. I guess you heard about that. The offenders in district court there. Have you heard about that?
No, what are they renaming?
Illinois set to change description of offender to justice impacted individual in the state law.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
Yeah, it's justice impacted individual instead of being labeled an offender when you go to court.
Because we can't offend anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to offend anybody. And
oh my gosh.
Moms for America, I've got to ask, what's your all's official statement on the punter from Kansas City? Did anybody get offended with him?
You know, we so supported him. We went right to social media with a statement. I can look that up. But yeah, we at Moms for America actually, just love what he said because he's pro-family. And talks about, the sanctity of a marriage and, the blessings of children. So, yeah, we embrace that immediately.
You know what's funny? Even Bill Maher, he has the HBO. He's a liberal. He's making fun of liberals. He goes, "What did the guy say that was so bad?"
I watched that, and he's like, "I don't get it. And what's wrong with what he said?"
And I'm going, so when all the liberals are not agreeing, you're sensing a little, hey, I don't know if I agree with you. Isn't that because, Pelosi kept a tight ship. They all marked in step. But you're seeing Democrats now breaking and splintering on certain votes, especially when it deals with Israel. And Do you think the Democrats and the liberals are having problems because Trump is pretty much outbeat their strategy?
Well, not only that, outbeating the strategy, I guess right along with that is the exposure of all the corruptness and all the lies and the things that are backfiring, I think, are causing the splintering finally.
That's where, people like Moms for Liberty, Moms for America, you guys take such blast because you're mama bears. And there was a time they wanted women to have a voice, but it's like, well, no, only to have a voice if you say what we approve of. And I'm sensing with the punter. Now, people vote with their feet in their pocketbook. His jersey's the #1 selling now in the NFL.
Well, and to add to that, the women's version is sold out.
Yeah. And
so what does that tell you, right?
Yeah, and the owners of the Chiefs' wife and daughter came to his defense. The Attorney General has come to his defense and said he's looking at prosecuting those that doxed him and tried to get him fired and all that. Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he put on his if they fire him, I'll quit and never coach again in NFL.
Wow.
That was big.
Good. Finally, some people that are going to stand up and just not, leave poor Harrison by himself.
Well, I'm calling.
I love that.
Now, some may not like this. It's okay. Not everyone likes what I say. I'm calling this the Caitlin Clark effect. I think she had the perfect storm of people fed up with feminism being disrespected, if you will. And her rise these last 6 months and setting all those records, and then the girls having a bigger attendance at the NCAA tournament than the boys. The ticket prices, she's packing out arenas. I don't know if you heard this the other night. The Women Fever had a bigger attendance than the men's Pacer, the Indiana Pacers, the men's team.
No way.
Yeah, and because of her coming into the league, now they have private jet service for the next two. They've always been riding buses like a third world team. This girl hit. It was like the perfect storm, and people. She's got the largest selling jersey globally, but she's straight. Wow. She's not gay. She just wants to play ball. She's, you know what I mean. I call it the Caitlin Clark effect. I think that just like Bud Lighting started the transgender pushback, I think celebrating womanhood through Caitlin Clark, I think it spilled over into this punter's what I'm saying. I think people are like ticked off. He spoke about women in a very positive way. Why would they want to go after that?
Well, he really did, and what you're saying is very telling about how women are fed up, or at least conservative, country-loving women. And also, if you look at, there is a Facebook page, there is a group of Benedictine nuns that felt compelled to make a statement against him, which was really shocking because they called his language divisive. I forgot what other words they used, but you get the picture. And these are Benedictine nuns.
Yeah, but there's a group of nuns that are lesbian.
What?
Oh yeah, there's an organization. They're lesbian nuns, and because this Pope has now allowed them to come out of the closet, because he's very
He's allowed a lot of stuff to come out of the closet.
Yeah. I mean, the closet's gotten huge. I mean,
yes, it has.
But the point is so I'd be interested to know if it's that, and I can't name it. There's a nun group now that they're professing they're out of the closet. They're lesbians, and etc. So that could be interesting to find out. But
yes, it would be.
Moms for America, when you guys go after people for your because you guys put a lot of attention on certain people that stand up for, the right things of America and primarily women. Do you guys have any attention? And maybe you can't tell me, but Caitlin Clark, I would love to see you guys interview her. And
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
tell them the lowly patriot Pastor Macil Duncan suggested because she's impacting feminine. She's making it okay to be straight and be good at what you do. You know, the women that spoke bad against her, the 4 NBA women that just roasted her and said negative things, they've all had to repeal it, are all very strong professing lesbians. Did you know that?
Wow.
And I think their biggest beef with her, if they be honest, is because she doesn't play their game. She's like, hey, I don't swing that way, you know? And you never hear her bashing people for their lifestyle.
I just find it, kind of curious as to why, all of the outspoken ones that are bashing her are lesbians. It's just weird.
The only lesbian that bashed her and has retracted it and is trying to be nice is Brittany Griner.
Oh, the one that was a prisoner?
Mm-hmm. The one that grew the full beard in Russia?
Yeah.
I don't know. She didn't get commissary for 3 months. She grew a full beard in Russia. I know there's some women that can do that. But,
I don't know. You've seen pictures with, of her years ago shirtless, and I'm like,
Yeah, when she was playing ball around the pool.
Yep.
Yeah, she was 17 years old, and I don't know of a 17-year-old girl that flat-chested. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, she do it anyway. It could be. I mean, I'm a guy. I don't know these things.
I think I'm an expert, and I say no.
I was gonna say, you're. Of course, I know that Judge Jackson wouldn't know. Bless her heart, she doesn't know what a woman is, but she's serving on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, Lord knows how she got there, but we won't digress.
Did you hear Biden issues a terror alert warning on U.S. Pride Month events without mentioning Islam?
Wow, on Pride Month.
Yeah,
so is he already, what are we setting up here, to putting him on a victim platform? What's the game plan behind that statement?
Well, it's a public service announcement. It's got the FBI and a couple other the alphabet agencies at the top emblem. It says alert number I-051024-PSA, May 10th, 2024. Foreign terrorist organizations and their supporters likely heightened threat environment during 2024 Pride Month. And he goes on to talk that Pride, there's going to be a threat, etc. Now, I don't think a lot of folks have educated themselves, but over in Saudi Arabia, I believe it's on Fridays, that's when they, I don't know if it's once a month or if it's every week, but that's when they kill gays. If you're caught in a gay sex act, you're executed.
Wow.
And there's someone going to try to prove me wrong. Please attempt that. But there used to be a time when they'd throw them off rooftops for a public shaming.
Oh, my Lord.
I think they've calmed that down to where they just do other things. But the real, if you talk to a Muslim that's a devout Muslim, especially one that believes in jihad, one of the first people they're going to take out if they dominate the world in their plan, it's not the Christians. We're on their top list. The number one group they want to take out is homosexuals and transgenders. Did you know that?
Wow. No, I thought it was Christians.
We're number 3. Okay, and then and Jews are up there too. But if you go look at some of the talking, this is the extreme. Now, not all Muslims. I'm saying the extreme Muslims that believe in jihad and believe in all the teachings of Muhammad. Because you got to realize that Muhammad, when he first wrote the Quran, the first part of the book was kind of nice because he thought it'd be more accepted. When he got rejected by Christianity and others, that's when he got pissed and wrote the last part of and you go study the kind of where he says, hey, you can pretend to be a Christian, lie if it all need be, etc. And but he kills all infidels. And when they list the infidels,
wow,
at the top of their infidel list is people that don't practice biblical, if you want to call it, or Old Testament sexual relations. With all that said, the PSA announcement, public service announcement that just got dropped May 10th, it says efforts to commit or inspire violence against holiday celebrations, including pride celebrations, LGBTOQDIA+. Boy, they've added some letters. Related venues are compounded by current heightened, and it stops there. But anyway, it's an FBI alert. It's out on all the Fed warnings.
But you said they didn't mention Islam. I mean, you're saying that's intentional, that they're protecting that group?
Well, it says FBI and Homeland Security have issued the alert warning that gay pride events scheduled for cities throughout the U.S. during June Pride Month may be targeted by ISIS and other Islamic terrorist organizations. Of course, our woke federal law enforcement agencies never uttered the word Islamic State, or Muslim. Here's what they said in release, and as I read it to you, they kind of let you imply that. But it says foreign terrorist organizations or supporters may seek to exploit increased gatherings associated with the upcoming Pride Month.
Okay.
So
they just lead you to connect the dots, but they don't come right out and say it.
Well, think about this. They got the college campuses, and most of that movement, the Palestine Agreement, is Muslim driven because it's hatred towards Jews. Correct?
Yep.
So if you keep that momentum going, what they're thinking, and if you notice, they'll keep Jewish students. They were blocking them from entering campuses, classrooms, etc.
Yep.
With that said, their hatred. Now they've said, hey, we've got away with blocking Jews and let's go after some other infidels on our list. And they're saying since Gay Pride Month is June, don't be too surprised if at a gathering in a city near you, there won't be some kind of an incident. I don't know. But
isn't that ironic though? They can, back and probably encourage what's going on these college campuses, and yet they're putting a warning out for a different demographic that the first demographic they were encouraging hates.
Well, there's been such a pushback. Look what Target, they issued a statement that this year, because of last year's boycotting and pushback, but they added in there, and the threats against their employees and their stores. As if Christians, we made these violent threats. That's the way they're trying to paint us as a hate group.
Of course.
But I'll bet you the hatred messages came from those that have the religious belief of labeling them infidels and executing them. As is the practice. If you check it out, a lot of Muslim nations, if you're caught in a lesbian sex act or a homosexual sex act, that's a death sentence.
My gosh, you date outside your tribe, that's a death sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of, America, you guys that say you hate America and you want to go fly, please just go to the other countries that you think are so much better than ours. And
I loved Elon Musk. He took a survey. He's like, how many of those that say death to America deserve a one-way ticket to Gaza?
Absolutely. yeah, let's please. I'm a taxpayer. I vote we pay for the one-way ticket with our tax-paying dollars. Let them go over there, and I guarantee you, just like Brittany Griner used to not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and make fun of America, what did she do when she was in a Russian jail? I'm an American citizen. I got rights. Oh, really? I'm curious. I haven't watched. I bet she puts her hand over the heart now.
I'd be curious too.
Because she sounds a little more humbler, and she's the only one of the super gay, outspoken WNBA players that's been kind of nice and saying, "Hey, Caitlin Clark, give her some time. She's going to have to, she's not been like Taurasi and Sue Bird and the other Flamers that have just been very unkind. And Cheryl Swoops, they were very unkind, and especially Cheryl Swoops. She was very upset at Caitlin Clark. But they all had to retract their statements because Caitlin Clark is the real deal, and she's captured America's heart.
Wow!
I think if I was Moms for America and I was on the leadership team, I'd say, hey, let's check her out and see if she would. She may have some things about her you may not embrace, but I'm just saying she seems like a great one. Real quick, Joe Biden agrees to remove remaining U.S. troops from Niger and Africa in September. We're going to abandon $100 million airbase, and Russia has already poised to take it over.
Oh my gosh.
Now, in Afghanistan, when we withdrew, we gave up that base to China. Now this one, we're giving to Russia under Biden's watch. Do you think this is intentional? Is this just clear stupidity?
Oh my gosh, I don't know how to answer that one. But we're going to withdraw our troops and just leave everything like before?
Yeah,
like Afghanistan?
Well, Niger got offended in Africa because he sent a delegation, and he intentionally sent some guys dressing as girls, trying to prove a point, and they said, "Get out. We don't respect that because they're of Muslim faith, a lot of them." And so they were highly offended and said, "I'll tell you what." They said, "Not only get the delegation, get all your troops out of this part of Africa." And so this has been a several weeks in process, but supposedly by September, they're going to abandon a $100 million air base. Now, to have an air base built, and we had one in Afghanistan, I can't imagine strategically that's got to affect our ability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To refuel planes, repair them, let your pilots maybe get a rest, etc., feed them. So when you give it over to supposedly an adversary, someone in China getting one and Russia getting another, we just helped them.
Right.
I mean, it's like squatters. Squatters take over your house and you're going.
Exactly.
We're letting the Russia and China squat and take over two of our strategic air bases.
Not to mention, I mean, giving them everything practically, but and emboldening them even more. But then, again, how do we look?
I think and then I don't understand why because Donald Trump is all about make America great again, our military, and under his watch, because see, they're getting this done under Biden, and Trump's going to come in. And they've made so many moves, it's going to make it very hard for the next commander-in-chief. Even if it's someone other than Biden, say a Kamala Harris or a Michelle Obama comes in. Now, if it's Michelle Obama, she's part of the plan. But real quick, did you hear where AOC says the quiet part out loud? She said the lawfares against Donald Trump are designed to obstruct his campaign like an electronic ankle monitor.
Oh, gosh. She said that?
She said, that's a quote. She said, like an electronic ankle monitor, these trials have limited Donald Trump to travel and campaign, and it's kept him off the campaign trail. And she said that she said it today.
Wow.
AOC, she's kind of the gift that keeps on giving, right?
She is, because I'm trying to think what was her angle on that other than stupidity.
I would love to see your president debate her.
You would what?
I'd love to see the president of Moms for America debate AOC. That I would pay money to see that.
There would be no match for Kimberly.
Oh, that's my point.
She would slice and dice her intellectually.
Tell her I said you need to have an interview with Caitlin Clark, and she then needs to debate AOC.
Okay.
That would be that would be pay-per-view. That gets y'all some money. I think folks would pay.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. We need some donations.
Another one real quick. Angry education workers ask schoolers to go on strike from school for Gaza.
What?
This is in the Daily Wire. It said socialist agitators are enlisting children to skip school on May 24th as a part of a school strike for Gaza.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank your liberal teachers union. Organizing materials viewed by Daily Wire show that a group of self-described politicized and militant teachers across the country are asking students to skip May 24th as a school strike for Gaza, showing their voice in solidarity for Gaza.
Oh my gosh. I have no words. That's disgusting. It's horrifying.
Well, I guess you've heard about the three prime ministers that did the press conference, Norway, Ireland, and Spain, saying that they're now supporting a Palestine state since Netanyahu was given an arrest warrant from the international court.
And why is he getting an arrest warrant?
Because they're saying that he butchered Hamas, and that they have and George Clooney's wife, who's a lawyer,
I read that.
She actually helped write the arrest warrant and influenced, and they used their financing. George the Clooney and his liberal wife, yeah, they used their influence and financing to help with this international court to petition them and to get the arrest warrant for Netanyahu.
So basically, they're saying their hatred against Israel and not even acknowledging the slaughter of all the Jewish citizens back in October. Is that right?
Exactly. And the thing that I don't understand is the hang gliders on October 7th. The Hamas guys that flew in with machine guns opened fire on those 300 students, young adults, at a music festival. They weren't gathered for political, militant issues. It was just a music festival. They shot and murdered, they raped, and they kidnapped. And somehow that's Israel's fault.
It's so horrifying and frustrating. Between that, between the Clooneys using their influence, and then you seeing all the college campuses in an uproar, they should watch the footage. I always say this to family members. They should watch the footage that I believe Sebastian Gorka was invited to D.C. to watch, and he said it was just horrific. He saw a lot of the raw footage of exactly what happened.
Well, you know why you have that raw footage?
What's that?
You know why you have that raw footage? There were 50 reporters that were given heads up of the attack, and they were allowed to come in with their cameras because Hamas wanted it filmed.
Oh my gosh.
And so who is the jerk that sent their reporter over to get the story, saying, hey, we want you to come in. We're about to kill some innocent people. Get the cameras rolling. That's how sick these people are. See, Hamas leader, he may not be winning with bullets and bombs, but he's winning the media, and he's winning the world narrative right now.
Yeah. He certainly is.
And again, to bring back another domestic craziness, 2 Clinton high school teachers were fired because now they've changed over 1,500 grades. If you were a liberal kid, they gave you good grades. If you were a conservative kids, they would fail you.
Wait, where are these teachers?
Clinton High School.
Oh.
And
that's appropriately named.
Yeah, I played the clip earlier. And this was a local Gatlinburg news, but Clinton High School, I believe it's in Tennessee, 2 teachers were fired, 1,500 grades were adjusted, and the principal now has resigned because of the scandal.
Oh, so the principal knew about it.
So, so you go back to this other May 24th walkout. They're asking schools kids don't come to school on the 24th. Now, don't you find it odd because most seniors don't go to school towards the end of May because they're graduating?
Yeah, they have a senior ditch day.
Yeah, I wonder if what they're doing, they did, because when I was in college at ETSU, they put in their school paper, we had over, I don't know how many thousands of students support Lesbian Gay Pride Day, and they gave the date. But then in parentheses, they said, because we asked everyone that supported gay rights wear blue jeans. There's a good chance I was wearing blue jeans that Friday. I didn't know.
What are the odds?
Yeah, I'm going, that's how they work. And I bet you this May 24th, they know
Same
it's
thing.
probably, they're going to count any kid not in school. Say, look at the kids. They're supporting this.
Yep, you're right.
Oh, I'm always right, just about. I'm kidding. But but the organizing materials viewed by the Daily Wire show that the group's it's a very politicized, militant teachers, part of the teachers union. Not all teachers are bad, but I'm just saying this is a organization, and this is the group plans to gather at McPherson Square, blocks away from the White House, to demand that Biden administration and Congress end unconstitutional military aid to Israel and call for permanent and immediate ceasefire.
Wow. So do you think, I mean, you've got the article in front of you. I mean, you think this was pretty thought out and orchestrated? I mean, like nationwide?
I believe they're trying to make it go nationwide because it's the Daily Wire got hold of the information. There's actually brochures. There's websites. There's things. You don't go through that kind of trouble if it's just for one local group.
Right.
So May 24th. Make sure your kids are in school, my friends.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to make a statement there. And I just don't understand how anyone in our country supports Hamas and this Palestinian from the river to the sea genocide against Israel.
You know, it's amazing how, you know, when you think of the college campuses and how, you know, they're all indoctrinated, they've become, I hate to say this, useful idiots, because you have a reporter from, I forget the group, it might be Latinos for Trump, but they're on a campus and they're like, have you said from the river to the sea? And this young lady's like, yeah. And they're like, what river and what sea? And she's looking at her friend like, can you help me out here? I have no idea. I mean, they went around campus asking all these questions. Do you know what Antifada means? You know, and they're like, no, but you're shouting it? Yeah.
That does prove the ignorance that we have in our education system from parents and students, but the deceptiveness of a lot of educators on these, especially college campuses. Did you know they did a ping check at Columbia University? 62% of those in those crowds and living in the village were non-students.
Yeah.
62% were non-students.
Yep.
So they allowed, and that's where the college administrator, I mean, I cannot believe they, you know, it's one thing maybe to let your kids that are students there to have the little protest, you know, but to allow 62%. And you remember Jill Stein, the Green Party, she got arrested. You remember that?
I don't.
Yeah, she got arrested. She was at one of the protests, and I'm going, man, what little shot she had of some votes. I don't see how that's helping her cause. Maybe she was wanting publicity stuff, but yeah, she was locked up, and she talked about how the horrid conditions, and she couldn't believe she was separated from the group. Excuse me, when you get arrested, it's not a party, you know? You get put in separate cells.
I'm sorry we couldn't provide you with a latte machine.
Yeah, she was so upset because she got separated from the group.
Wow.
It's quite the article. It's been a few weeks. If you get a chance to read it, I'm going, Jill Stein, and someone needs to tell her quit talking. You know, you don't have any shot of winning the presidency, but geez. You know, anyway. We got a few minutes for the break here. What's happening with Moms for America?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we had, you know, the mom song launched, and we got a lot of great feedback. We put it out on every single music platform you could have. And we have our latest podcast is with Joey Lynn Massaros and her husband. They're fighting a legal battle after being sued by Biden campaign staffers because they were flying a Trump flag next to the Biden bus in 2020. So
they're suing them for that
Next to the Biden bus in 2020. Yes, her name is Joey Lynn Massaros. She's a proud.
What did she? What law are they saying that she broke?
I read an article a while ago that they're really obviously stretching and twisting some kind of earlier KKK law, like you're intimidating black people, but that's an article I read. I don't know if that's necessarily in our podcast that we just dropped yesterday, but this is the person that we're interviewing. And she's in a battle for free speech here.
Wow. Well, I'm amazed. Who's the next famous person you're going to meet? You've met a lot of them. You've met Donald Trump. You've met Rich, the country singer, and the actor. I'm trying to think of his name.
Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel, and the other guy that was on Growing Pains.
Oh, Kirk Cameron.
Yeah, man. So when I shake your hand, I shook the hand of the hand that shook a lot of people's hands. But so anybody, who's next on Maria's popularity list? Who's the next person you're gonna go see?
Well, we're going to meet a lot of famous actors, I think, in Sevierville. And next week we go to Rise Up Con, which is a convention hosted by actor Kevin Sorbo and his wife.
I like him.
And it's going to have a lot of actors that have turned their backs on Hollywood and want wholesome, good-for-you entertainment. So... And there's going to be a lot of great patriotic vendors there. Patriot Mobile is one of the major sponsors, so is Moms for America is a sponsor. But it'll be in Sevierville, and I think Dean Cain will be there. I know Kevin Sorbo, and some other actors.
What about Patricia Heaton? Will she be there?
I didn't see her name on there.
She's
but
really
you never know.
She's become very outspoken.
Really?
She's always been a strong Christian, but she walked out on an awards show about 8-10 years ago because it was just so nasty, making fun of Christians and.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she took offense, but she was on Everyone Loves Raymond. She played his wife, but Patricia Heaton, and she's made a few Christian movies. She came out in defense of the kicker from the Chiefs. And said, "What is the big deal?" She did an Instagram post, and she was very just said, "Hey, what's the problem here?" And so anyway, Moms for America, that may be a good one. You guys probably already thought of it. She'd be a great one to have on your podcast. I think she might even have a podcast, or maybe she just does social media posts, but I don't know. Well, we got a couple minutes before we have to go. Is there anything else coming up you need to announce? Is there anything locally going on here in Chattanooga, Moms for America event?
Well, not at the moment, just the event that I'll be heading out to Sevierville for next weekend.
Is that open to the public or?
Oh, yeah. It's called Rise Up Con. Let me go back to the website and make sure I have it. RISEUPCON, riseupcon.com, and it's hosted by Kevin Sorbo. It's a whole weekend. They start off with a golf tournament, and then on Friday they will have all kinds of documentaries and all kinds of theaters sponsoring all these new movies and documentaries coming up that you can preview at the event. But then there's going to be a ton of booths, and I'll be manning the Moms for America booth. And just some great organizations like Brave Books. They have wholesome books, and they are, that's where Kirk Cameron reads at the libraries. And the Babylon Bee is going to be there. Some great organizations, and Patriot Mobile will be there. It's going to be a great time.
Well, we wish you well, and thanks for being on the show again. And sorry, we had a little freeze up with the computers. It made us our timing's off today. But
no worries.
We appreciate your patience, and look forward to. We're going to be doing some live Street Level America, and we've got some stuff coming up, and I'll tell you about later. But we want you to be a part of that here around
Ooh.
Chattanooga.
That sounds exciting.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and I said I got to bring Maria some of these
Yay!
things, and but guys, we're going to let Maria go for now. But thank you so much, Maria, and God bless Godspeed. And tell Mark praying for him. I hope his back's better.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. That's Maria Wagner with Moms for America. She calls in every Wednesday and always has something to tell us. The Moms for America, if you are a lady looking for a group that you need some patriotism, friendship, if you will, look on momsforamerica.com, find a chapter near you, or better yet, start one. You can get some women together, I'm sure, and have a moment. I will be back after the break.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Nestle, the world's largest food company behind such brands as DiGiorno Pizza, Hot Pockets, and Stouffer's, is releasing a line of new frozen food products targeting a specific group of people, those taking weight loss drugs. Nestle announcing it will begin to market $5 pizzas and protein-enriched pastas to American shoppers who use weight loss medications like Wegovy and Ozempic. They will be under a new brand called Vital Pursuits, described as food solutions, complementing the eating habits of millions of Americans who are prescribed a weight loss drug. The products are set to hit store shelves in October.
I don't know what you guys think about that, but Nestle is trying to, I guess, corner the market, if you will, on shoppers using weight loss drugs. My advice, be wise, my friend. Just say it slowly with me, Food and Drug Administration. Who thinks of putting food and drugs under the same roof of administrating? Savvy? Be wise. Anything that promises that quick a result, I would just be a little wise and slow it down. But Nestle's going to capitalize because so many people today are taking these crazy drugs and saying, "Hey, that's for me." Joy Behar, she's on The View. Back when Barbara Walters started that, it had some more. It always leaned left. But after Barbara Walters got off the show, and Candace Burham, Kirk Cameron's sister, when she left the show, it never was the same to me. Of course, I am a very conservative person, so I'm not gonna. I don't know if you like The View, but listen to Joy Behar basically talk to Bill Maher, and basically says, shouldn't we lie? Because if we talk bad about Joe Biden, isn't that going to encourage folks to vote for someone else? This is her words, not mine.
Sure. So, but I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden. I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously. But
I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence? You might, influence people who are on the fence.
I think you lose all credibility.
I think he hit the nail on the head. You lose all credibility when? Listen to what he says.
I mean, my bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Bingo. And Bill Maher, I don't agree with everything he says, but I've been remarkably shockarooed by some of the things he said recently that I do agree with. But that's the way I try to be a straight shooter for you here at the radio show. And what's funny? The people I offend the most are pastors. There's fellow pastors out there that get. I mean, I hate to say it, but they're just. I don't know. I think they've eaten the Wheaties from the Johnson Amendment box, and they're just passive pansies. And bless your pea-picking hearts. Go hide in your little rooms and don't say anything controversial, and see where that gets you. Okay, our job is to be salt and light, inform and awaken the community, and that's what I will continue to do. But I thought that was interesting, Joe Behar. Interesting enough. But as we move on, the other thing that I brought to your attention that maybe you're aware of, maybe you're not, is you have 3 prime ministers, Norway, Ireland, and Spain, to recognize Palestinian state. Let me play it again in case you didn't hear it.
Today, Ireland, Spain, and Norway announced they will recognize a state of Palestine.
Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision. In the lead up to today's announcement, I've spoken with a number of other leaders and counterparts, and I'm confident that further countries will join us in taking this important step in the coming weeks.
Hamas called the decision an important step, while Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said it is giving a prize to Hamas and Iran, and he recalled Israel's ambassadors to Norway and Ireland. The European countries' announcements came after this week's decision by the International Criminal Court to consider arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. On Tuesday, Norway declared if warrants are issued, they will enforce them and arrest Netanyahu and Gallant.
How about that? So you're seeing a little bit of a movement here, and people globally are turning on Israel. This is biblical, and don't be so surprised when you see it happen more often. So as we're starting to see this, and people are waking up to this, don't be so surprised when you hear teachers doing this.
Following breaking news tonight, 2 Clinton High School teachers now out of a job after the district says they manipulated over 1,500 grades.
In a special
Manipulated over 1,500 grades. Manipulated over 1,500 grades. Manipulated over 1,500 grades.
So these 2 teachers were fired, and the principal also offered his resignation because if you were a conservative, they would hurt your grade or fail you. If you were a liberal, they passed you. Not based on your knowledge, but based on your standing with their views, and that's wrong. But here's even more wrong. The Daily Wire, angry education workers asked high schoolers to go on strike from school for Gaza. Now, this is a shocker-roober. Some of you parents need to be aware. Socialist agitators are enlisting children to skip school on May 24th as a part of a social strike for Gaza. And they're in demand of 2 things from the Biden administration. Number 1, end unconstitutional military aid to Israel. How is it unconstitutional to support our allies? Whichever sweet cheeks wrote this, they've not done they're school teachers, but they're dumb. We've always sent military aid to our allies. This is obviously somebody that just colored in the right places to get her little degree. Number 2 demand, call for permanent and immediate ceasefire. So you're seeing this Palestine love fest that hit our college campuses. It's hitting now the school. They're trying to bring it into the lower school level right here before school's out. And you're seeing it there at the Clinton High School there. I believe that's in the Knoxville area. So why all this now? The election's not too far away, and this isn't sitting well with the voters. You got to ask yourself, why do they want all this now? It doesn't make sense. Now, in the Newsweek poll they just did, Donald Trump, as a poll that was released today, he's up in all 5 swing states. He is up now, and I think a lot of folks are shocked. It says, Donald Trump scores polls boast in 5 critical battleground states. And this is probably something that the Biden administration was not prepared for. And when we come back, I'll explain to you what the plan was of the Democrats. But Donald Trump now is leading Joe Biden in multiple swing states, which could prove pivotal in the outcome of the 2024 election. Donald Trump is up currently right now in Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So if Donald Trump's winning in those 5 battleground states, people may say, hey, game over, but not so fast, my friend. Don't forget in 2020, even though Trump won the traditional Ohio and some of the states, Florida and etc., you have to win, they did some gerrymandering. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next. Now, the other thing you may be shocked to hear is the Biden administration says, why should we have to do it? Why are we responsible for the border? Even though military-aged kids are crossing. That was just released. One of Biden's lackeys said, why do we have to secure the border? And Marsha Blackburn ripped the Democratic-backed bill because they did it's worse than the open border. Worse than doing nothing, GOP rips into Schumer's backed border bill. And this is, it's rather embarrassing that the Democrats think we're that dumb. But Schumer put together a bill that basically, this is beyond me, beyond sane and beyond sanity. That the Democrats, don't forget what they did to Mike Johnson. We don't know what they did, if he's blackmailed or what, like Marjorie Taylor Greene said. But he said he was going to secure the border first when he became Speaker. and would not pass any financial aid to other countries that did not include the border. Well, he did. Read my lips, no news taxes like Bush. He passed separate billing for the Ukraine, Israel, etc., etc. And the border bill, even though it passed separately, it's laying in the Senate, and they're not going to vote to affirm it. So he gave up. I'll be back after the break. This is Macil Duncan. We're having an extended show today because we had a time lapse.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows
Have you ever heard the name Norm Eisen? Norm Eisen is a new name you're going to learn. Norm Eisen is a lawyer. And you may say, well, that's nice to know. We got a new lawyer's name. But Norm Eisen is not any ordinary lawyer. He's an American attorney, of course. He's the author and he's a former diplomat. He is a senior fellow in governance and studies at the Brookings Institute. He's a CNN legal analyst. That tells you some things right there. Okay, he's part of the crew, which is the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. He's part of the crew, okay? So he is a professional lawyer. He served in the Obama administration. And he is, if you go to Wikipedia, you can see more stuff about him. He's got a lot of information about him. In 1985 to 88, between college and law school, Eisen worked as an assistant director of the Los Angeles office of the Anti-Defamation League. Okay? And Norm Eisen is a fellow in the governance studies of Brookings, as I said. He served in the Obama administration in the ethics area. And so you may say, what's the big deal? Well, it came out in court at the New York that Mr. Eisen is the key architect of 180 cases against Donald Trump. He's behind the color revolution, and he wrote a book called The Playbook. It's literally called The Playbook, and it gives a very strategic organization to go after Donald Trump through legal manipulation. Norm Eisen, the key architect behind the color revolution and lawfare cases against President Trump, was confronted outside the Manhattan courtroom by the founder of Crowdsource the Truth. And he was being called a liar, and folks were upset because of the testimony that took place exposing him in the Michael Cohen trial. Trump defense witness Robert Costello on Monday testified that Norm Eisen, the lawyer that was in the Obama administration, etc., coerced Michael Cohen to pay Stormy Daniels out of his own pocket back in 2016. They said they wanted to have this as a back burner tool to go against Trump. So this is interesting. If you go to Crowdsource the Truth, they've actually got the video. It's 60 seconds of Norm Eisen hiding behind police, not wanting to answer any questions. Norm Eisen is a part of the Michael Cohen debacle, and we're finding out, as I said, he orchestrated the 180 law cases around the country that they're bringing against Donald Trump. He also wrote the impeachment accusations against Trump, but the dates, now they're finding out, it was before he even had the phone call with Zelensky and the Ukraine. And you guys remember that they were shocked that Donald Trump had the phone transcript. That Adam Schiff, you remember he said, we have evidence. And, of course, he lied about things against Donald Trump on the Ukraine phone call. And so this is obviously now becoming more and more apparent that there was a trap, that they were set. And this guy, Eisen, was the master, okay? So as we're finding out, also Revolver News, Darren Beattie, a former speechwriter for President Trump, Beattie called out Norm Eisen in his discussion about the color revolution when he had an interview with Tucker Carlson in 2020. Darren Beattie specifically called out Norm Eisen as the lawfare hatchet man and the Democrat operative behind the color revolution. Norm Eisen is a key legal hatchet man, a Democrat operative. He's a former Obama ethics czar, and believe it or not, he's also the key architect of nearly every effort to censor, sue, impeach, and overthrow President Donald Trump. He's the author in a fact color revolution playbook they literally call the playbook, which has a blow-by-blow instruction for folks that want to go after Donald J. Trump. So he is the engineer. He is the legal mind behind 180 lawsuits against Donald Trump. As this was revealed in the court case with Michael Cohen, they have now found Michael Cohen, he admitted on the stand to 6 felonies of fraud against Donald Trump, that he hid money, he overcharged, etc. So what they found out is Alvin Bragg had this situation, and the sad thing is they admitted to it on the air, and that's where I think a lot of folks are a little shocked that they have the admission by this was on CNN about this, that they admitted, yeah, we lied, we tried to entrap and get Donald Trump through various ways. And so I'm going to find the clip here for you that the guy just admitted flat out that, hey, we went after Donald Trump and we used lie tactics, cheating, stealing, etc., to try to get him exposed for something that even though he didn't do. And this is what amazes me, is how they're openly now admitting to some of these things, and you got to ask: are they feeling the wall closing in, or are they just so proud of themselves that they think, hey, we're untouchable? And that's the shocker thing about it to me, is that there's got to be some accountability. If a organization is allowed to, like a district attorney like Alvin Bragg, if he's allowed to manipulate that much and cause that much struggle, that's got to somehow fall back. One of these guys has got to go to jail. I don't know about you guys, but I believe there's something to this, and I'm sorry, I'm having a tough time finding the clip. Here it is. Are you ready? Check this out. This is CNN News, actually.
I think the revelation, though, this morning about the theft of $30,000, which was doubled because they covered his taxes, so $60,000, it came out in a glancing, unclear way on direct. It came out like a bomb earlier today. I don't know how much they can do to fix that. It just, at a certain point, it is the fact Michael Cohen did steal this money. And what makes that really so, I don't know how much they can do to fix that. It just, at a certain point, it is the fact Michael Cohen did steal this money. It is the fact Michael Cohen did steal this money. It is the fact Michael Cohen did steal this money. It is the fact Michael Cohen did steal this money. And what makes that really so important, Wolf, is it's not as if Michael Cohen was just stealing on the side. That'd be bad enough. The problem is he was stealing from the exact reimbursement at issue in this case. So the prosecution's core argument is Donald Trump knew what that $420,000 was all about. He was totally read in on it. Turns out Michael Cohen was stealing from him within that $420,000.
Does Michael Cohen's admission that he stole tens of thousands of dollars from the Trump organization potentially opened him up to further criminal prosecution?
It's a great question. The answer is not anymore because the statute of limitations has run out. But it's a very fair question to ask. Gee, folks of the jury, they gave him a free pass. He committed larceny. It's a higher degree of a felony than what Donald Trump is charged with. Larceny. It's a higher degree of a felony than what Donald Trump is charged with. Yet they gave Michael Cohen a free pass, even though he's now admitted that he stole what amounts to $60,000. It goes to his credibility. It goes to his relationship with the DA.
So, moments later, check this out.
The shocking thing at the end of that cross-examination, and I just can't tell you how stunning it was, because it's the thing that I was waiting for. I saw everything Todd Blanche. I've seen every minute of cross-examination. I've seen every single question he's asked. And he sat down and ended his cross-examination without asking a single question about the $130,000 that appears on the Alan Weisselberg notes about how they were structuring the payment to Michael Cohen. He asked about the $50,000 that's irrelevant to the $130,000.
And that was MSNBC. So you've got to ask yourself, for CNN and MSNBC to now almost come off like they're defending Donald Trump in this court, it's playing to sympathies. And as I've just mentioned to you, Trump had a bump. Right now, the election were today, he's winning in all 5 battleground states, and he's also, his approval rating has taken another 3-point jump. That's not huge, but it's a 3-point jump. And the recent USA Today poll, Donald Trump has increased his likability among business women. Shockaroo. Hello. So I think we're finding out that there's a lot more to it. And you have Joe Behar, and I'm going to play this again, talking to Bill Maher saying, hey, maybe we basically should lie that we support Joe Biden because we don't want to help the other side. Joe Behar from The View.
Sure. So, but I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden. I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously. But
I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence? You might, influence people who are on the fence.
I think you lose all credibility. I do. I mean, my bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Hey, you know who lives in this house? A great big phony!
And you got to ask Joe Behar, basically admitting that she hates because she doesn't want to help the other side. So that shows that she has no ability to be agreeable to let people make up their own minds. They don't want that. They want to make sure that you and I are manipulated. Now, this is Senator Johnson about the border, and he kind of goes after Mayorkas. See what you think.
When you entered office, you reversed all those successful policies. And you opened up the border, and you've created this catastrophe. And it is a catastrophe. 6 million people, more than 6 million people.
Yes, dude, yes!
The 31 states have a population less than the number of people you've let in, flooding these sanctuary cities. So,
31 states, Senator Ron Johnson said, have less population than the amount of illegals that they've let in under the Biden administration. So, there's a big problem, and Representative Green raises the alarm over the people crossing the border, and I think this is rightfully so. This is Straight Arrow News. See what you think.
Chairman of the Committee on Homeland Security, U.S. Congressman Dr. Mark Green says he expects federal border authorities under the Biden administration to have encountered 10 million migrants by the end of this summer. It's a number that's never been seen in 2-term presidential administrations, let alone one. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection data, Federal agents encountered more than 248,000 migrants at the U.S.'s southern and northern borders in April, bringing the fiscal year 2024 total to nearly 2 million. And since President Biden took office, more than 9.5 million migrants have been encountered at our nation's borders. And took office, more than 9 million. And since President Biden took office, more than 9.5 million migrants have been encountered at our nation's borders. It is unbelievable that we are on track to hit 10 million encounters nationwide before this fiscal year is even over. And that doesn't count the roughly 2 million or more known gotaways on this administration's watch.
Now, that's Representative Mark Green from Tennessee. Mark, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mark Green from Tennessee said this. Now, this is a shockaroo. Joe Manchin, the Democrat from West Virginia, who has said he can't run for re-election basically because West Virginia is now polling nearly 80% for Donald Trump and for the Republicans. Him being a Democrat, even though he's good friends with Nick Saban, he has got a lot of experience, and he is the one voice at times of the Democrats we saw as sanity. He's not running again in 2024, but he also made a statement a few months back. He cannot promise he'll be a Democrat at 2024. So this is what Senator Joe Manchin tells GOP colleagues. This was on Fox News. When you get a chance, secure the border. Take it. I repeat, Joe Manchin, the Democrat from West Virginia, says to the GOP colleagues, when you get a chance to secure the border, take it. So I think that's interesting that an entrenched Democrat senator, multiple terms, very liked, very respected, is telling his GOP counterparts, if you get a chance to take over the border, do it, and don't look back. I think that's something that we've got to consider, and we're going to come back to that. I've got this this is a senior pastor, Reverend Justin Kirpsey, talking about courage with the cross. Men, I hope you get inspired with this.
I want to focus on today is a man named Joseph of Arimathea, and what Mark tells us he displayed. It says that he displayed courage. Courage. Men, today, God's going to give you an opportunity to have courage. What is courage? It's not the absence of fear. It's staring fear straight in the face and saying, not today, fear, and walking through fear and doing what God has called you to do. And so what is God calling you to do today? If you could just be still and listen to his voice and follow his lead and do that with courage. That's what real men do. We live courageously, we lead courageously. Courage is what leads this world, what influences this world. And so be faithful and courage today, just like Joseph of Arimathea was in Mark chapter 15.
Way to go, Pastor. I agree. We need more courage. And it's okay to display masculinity. A lot of men feel that they are intimidated by, oh my gosh, if I show my manhood, I just might be persecuted for it. No, you won't. Be strong. Be courageous. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And so I want to encourage men to think and pray about that. And that was a good word. Well, speaking of men, I know some things that guys have a trouble with is all the coffees. Now, more and more men are into the coffees and to the flavoring, but did you know that Starbucks is losing the momentum in the U.S.? But you're going to freak out, and I kid you not, they want to put coffee, if you want to call them coffee establishments, in China. You just have to listen for yourself. This is unreal how many coffee shops they believe they'll open in China. Check it out.
Starbucks has been a mistake for a long, long time. But finally, the concerns are crystallizing. This past quarter, Starbucks sales fell off of a cliff. This is Heard on the Street, and today we're talking about Starbucks. The suspicion is people are finally hitting a pain point with the expensive beverages at Starbucks. This is the change in U.S. foot traffic. You can see that Duncan grew quite a bit faster, and Dutch Brothers, which is a fast expanding chain, grew far more quickly. The overall growth in Starbucks in the United States has slowed dramatically because they've reached a saturation point. It's growing, but it's not growing like it used to grow. They need China to succeed. So Starbucks' long-term strategy in China is to grow very quickly because they know that the country is becoming more wealthy and that people like coffee culture. Starbucks said in 2022 it wanted over the next 3 years to open a cafe in China every 9 hours, which...
Did you hear that? Every 9 hours, they want to open a coffee shop. This is Starbucks in China. Listen again.
To open a cafe in China every 9 hours. To open a cafe in China every 9 hours. To open a cafe in China every 9 hours, which sounds bonkers. And it is, except if you consider the fact that in China last year, a branded coffee shop opened on average every 20 to 30 minutes. Branded coffee shop opened on average every 20 to 30 minutes.
I bring that up not to talk so much about coffee. That's how much the China population is. So if Starbucks wants to open a coffee shop every 9 hours, but they're already averaging a new coffee shop every 20 to 30 minutes. Think about that. Every 20, how many coffee shops is that a day? So when I bring that to your attention, I just want to remind you that we surrendered the Afghan military base when Biden did his pullout in Afghanistan. China now has that base, and it was a strategic air base that we spent hundreds of millions of dollars on. It also, if you saw the Marine coverage, a guy did a social media showing them taking down the flags. There was actually a NATO sub base there, and that was surrendered with the air base to China. Well, we just learned today that Niger, over in Africa, has kicked American troops out, and in September there'll be the full withdrawal. Biden announced his administration. That's another air base, $100 million air base being surrendered to Russia. So we surrendered one to China and now one to Russia. Now, the reason I mention that is also at the southern border, our FBI director has given us six warnings that there could be potential conflict at in America because of the sleeper cells that are in the country, and he gave us those warnings. Well, he also put out an alert, and it's right here, a public service announcement. Biden FBI issues a terror alert warning of Islamic attack on U.S. Pride Month, and without mentioning the name Islam. But it's got the FBI, the Homeland Security, and other different SEALs up there showing this public announcement that came out May 10th. It's alert number I-051024-PSA. Foreign terrorist organizations and their supporters likely heightened threat environment during the 2024 Pride Month. Okay? The FBI and DHS are issuing the public service announcement to provide awareness to public and foreign terrorist organizations for their support of potential targeting LGBTQIA, whatever the alphabet is. So with this threat alert, the thing that you need to understand when you go and look at the Muslim Jihad, their infidel list, yes, they hate Jews, they hate Christians, but what they hate before, if they take over the world, one of the first jihads, the executions they've said they would do is homosexuals and transgenders. They see that as very offensive. And I know a lot of liberals that are marching now for free Palestine from the river to the sea. Those of you that are gay and transgender need to understand you'll be the first one they whack if they were to take control. Savvy? With that said, this public service announcement now by our federal government in America tells us you've got to understand that the FBI and DHS doing a joint statement, and this is coming up in just a few weeks in June. Now, Target already announced, and I mentioned this last week, Target has pulled back on their Gay Pride Month displays. They said they'll be at the back of the store, and they're also pulling back on a lot of the satanic T-shirts and the mannequins that had the horns, etc. Walmart, though, has announced they're going to have more gay pride in Walmart stores. It's just going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But for the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security to give this joint public service announcement that Monday, the month of June, could be dangerous, and you have Christopher Wray, the FBI director, give 6 directives. Now, the interesting thing about Christopher Wray, you may know this, he was the lawyer that defended Chris Christie on that bridge crisis back in New Jersey. Do you know that? Yeah, but Christopher Wray, go study his past. Him and James Comey, the former FBI director, and this one, rather interesting. And I mentioned on my show yesterday, since we're talking FBI director, did you know who Mitch McConnell recommended to take James Comey's place? If you listen to the show, you'd know this. Mitch McConnell recommended to be the next FBI director, Merrick Garland. Could you imagine? Now think about that. Mitch McConnell blocked him from being on the Supreme Court at the end of the Obama administration. So to try to make up for it, he announced, hey, what if you put Merrick Garland as the FBI director when they fired James Comey? Does that not tell you the level of minutia that Mitch McConnell runs in D.C.? Now, for whatever reason, and you got to admit, when you had Judge Scalia, the most conservative judge on the Supreme Court, he was at a hunting lodge and he died mysteriously with a pillow over his face. That's yet to be explained. There was no autopsy. So that's very puzzling how a man died with a pillow on his face. Okay? But as he died, they were trying to replace him with a liberal. But the spin of it all is when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died at the end of Trump's time, they tried to prolong her announcement. You know, she was dead for quite a while before they announced it to the people because they wanted the same respect that they gave. They wanted the new president to replace a liberal judge with another liberal. Here's the ironic thing. You've got to get this in your brain. Obama tried to replace a conservative judge with a liberal, and Mitch McConnell stopped it. But then he actually recommended that same liberal judge, Merrick Garland, to be the FBI director, and Trump said no. But then Trump was able to put in Amy Coney Barrett to take Ginsburg's place. So the very thing that Obama tried to do was put an opposing judge view into the Supreme Court. Trump was able to do. In 4 years, Trump put in 3 Supreme Court justices, and he flipped the court. The very thing that Obama was trying to do, and we don't still understand how Scalia died. No information. All we know is he died with a pillow over his head. I don't know about you. I don't sleep with pillows over my face obstructing my breathing. That may be you, but that's not me. So he died. They tried to put a liberal in. They didn't let it, so Trump comes in, and he puts in Gorsuch. And then he put in the other guy that was heavily contested, and he put Amy Coney Barrett. So Trump put in 3 people, but again, the same scenario at the end of Obama was Ginsburg, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She died, and they wanted that to be delayed like they made them delay. But see, the problem is it all came down to who controlled the Senate. I'm saying all that to remind you your vote matters. We must understand that in the upcoming days ahead, this election is going to be very crucial. And you need to vote with Christian conviction and compassion, because the next president will more than likely appoint another judge. Not to mention, if Donald Trump were to get in, it would not surprise me if Clarence Thomas retires so Trump could replace him with another conservative to keep that strong. But you need to understand that's why the Democrats were crying out that they were going to stack the bench. Because, see, Trump was able to flip one of the seats, Ginsburg to Barrett. That was huge. I don't know if you guys can inhale this. You may be driving, eating a burger and fries and sipping on a Diet Coke, but try to chill and just let that sink in. Obama tried to flip a conservative to a liberal, and that didn't work. But Trump was able to. And if you remember the last days, him getting Amy Coney Barrett in there was a challenge. If you remember, he did public, and it looked like he was facing a lot of kickback. But he made sure he got the three conservatives in there. The Supreme Court we have now is not perfect, but it's much more conservative than it's been in quite some time. And if it wasn't for the Supreme Court, we would not have the Roe versus Wade overturned. We would not have the public praying overturned for the coach and the other. There's a lot of big key, and there's more coming in June. June is when they announce the Supreme Court decisions that they've recently made. And so this June will probably be not just Gay Pride Month. It's going to be Supreme Court Surprise Month. I believe there's things coming. There's 3 big cases they're going to reveal. Well, this is Macil Duncan. This is the Macil Duncan Show. We had an extended period today because we got a late start. Thanks for listening, and tell your friends about the Macil Duncan Show. We're on USA Heartbeat, Street Level America, and Destiny Media in 32 states now, Mexico, Canada, and we appreciate all that like and share the show. God bless, Godspeed, my friends, and I'll be back tomorrow.